Hello, 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 and welcome. My name's Campbell, if you don't know, and I'm here with Luke from Ancient Historia, and we're going to have a look at ancient Historia stuff. So, hello to everyone in chat. Thank you for joining us. 16 of you, come on, share this out. We need to get some more people watching. Luke, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Campbell. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. It's
I presume
8,
it's the
12
morning.
a.m. where I am, and
Really?
yeah. So it's midnight where you are, is it?
Yeah, I've just come back from a night out, so
Oh wow,
that's how it is. You know,
well,
yeah,
good
no,
to
history
see that.
never sleeps. It never sleeps.
It never sleeps. No. Good to see
It
you're not
doesn't.
drunk
Yeah.
as well. Very good, very good.
Well, yeah. Many
All
years
right.
of alcoholism have trained me for this.
Yeah. Right for the late nights, man. Yeah. And
No,
of course, if you haven't heard of Luke, his channel is Ancient Historia, and the link is below in the description. So do go across and give him a like, a subscribe, share, all that good stuff. He's trying to get to 10,000K, so we need 2,500 of you on this live stream, and then you all to impress his mother. So I mean, come on, that's a heartfelt cry. He's got to impress his mother.
exactly,
We cannot let him fail.
I've got to show it.
Share this far and wide.
I am not the failure child, and I will do well with your help.
with everyone, exactly. And if likes don't prove one's worth, then I mean, what does?
Well, no, I remember, them saying, Luke, put this Tartaria away, be a lawyer. And I said, no, I will not.
Oh.
And now, here I am. So I'm not a lawyer, and I do research Tartaria, but I could use your help.
Congratulations. I think that's good. I always thought it was, Luke, I'm not your father.
For all of your viewers, right, I sat here watching Campbell for a good 6 months before I even picked up a YouTube channel. And I used to watch all the people he was talking to, and I thought, oh, what would I say if I was on there? And I'd imagine all the channels. And then as soon as I got in here, I realized it's actually really difficult, and I have no fucking clue what to say. So
that's all right. You just keep going, and I think somewhere along the line you improve. I don't know. I had no idea what I was doing when I started either. Like I didn't even know how to do screen, show my face for about 4 months.
Oh
yeah. I was just using some cheap crappy screen recorder, but you go forward because history never sleeps, right?
I feel like your accent actually benefits that. Because you sound like you're constantly questioning things, right? So nobody can ever be angry at you because you're just questioning. You're going, oh, what is this? Whereas I sound very affirmative. When I say something, I feel like that's a claim.
You do, exactly.
He needs to back that up. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He's telling me stuff. God.
Exactly.
What's David Attenborough doing on my screen?
I have to sit there going, guys, this is, I'm just asking questions, what's your opinion? Whereas you're just like, fucking, what's this? What's that? Well, nobody cares.
This is, maybe I should start some classes, right? We could have the Only Cams, Aussie lingo class. And we can teach you to say things like, yeah, g'day, mate.
Between us, though, we've got it, haven't we? Because I can make the claims and then you can question those claims. Like, really? Okay. And then
yeah. I mean, we have. I think that's a good name, right? Questions and claims.
Oh, that is questions and claims every Friday night when
questions and claims.
Well, yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
The claims can be more ridiculous the more drunk I am when I get home. I could get back leathered and claim I invented the question mark, and you guys can dispute me.
Yeah, and the thing is, even when you're drunk, you just start sounding more intelligent, because words will be rolling off, but you'll still have that intelligent, overbearing British accent. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The more drunk I sound, the more drunk I get, the more King Charles. I should say King. I was going to say Prince Charles. More King Charles I get. And then eventually I just turn into David Attenborough. But you've heard that.
Which I think all British people do. Yes. Yeah. I think we need to do a clip of the David Attenborough, and I think we definitely need to do a Star Wars parody. Luke.
I tell you what,
it is not Tartarian.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I was going to say, if you bring up some animal wildlife videos right now, I will narrate it. I'll do it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I think we're definitely going to have to hit that. Some animal
but for now,
narration.
We're focus on our.
For now, we probably should. We'll say a quick hello, and then we should start showing some history scenes. That's what we do here. So, hello to everyone in chat. 114 of you watching. Thanks all for being here. Summer Dragon, Kelly, Dolan, Just JP, Pants on the Ground.
You say
114 watching at the moment.
Oh, 114.
No, 14.
Last night, I got my highest ever. Yeah. I got 141, and I've never had that before in my life. So if you were one of those watching last night, I know you were, Cambell, then thank you so much, because I never imagined 140 people would watch my shit. I'm an idiot. What are you guys doing?
Dude, you're supposed to be promoting yourself to get... Everyone's just going, what is it? Okay, I'm really
smart. You guys should watch my channel.
Yeah. He doesn't just claim, he questions as well.
Oh, yeah. Lots of questions.
Hello, IFF. Lots of claims.
So
right.
Sometimes
I should really be putting these up on screen. I'm still learning how to drive this. Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like, you make the claim, and I'll just go, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Look at that. No, look how that happens. That could be good. What do you think?" You're well, clearly that's a column. And I go, "Okay, I don't know."
Well, right. I'm quite history focused. So, like, obviously, you watched my video last night. I like to do proper research, and I know that a lot of people. You're working every day, you don't want to do research, and at the same time, when you do research, I know this, like, nobody gives a fuck, right? I read a book and I find some awesome info, I turn around like, oh guys, guess what, there's nobody there, nobody cares. So having a channel where I can read that book with you and go, oh fuck, look at this, for me, that's amazing. And then for you guys as well, like, you don't have to read that book. You get to watch it and you get to go, oh shit, that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? So I do the hard work, and I just bring you the entertainment, basically. And I swear a little bit in the middle to make you laugh, and that's my channel.
There you go. We're really just repressed animated teachers.
No, for real. Like, I talk about Tamerlane, and people are sat there, they're watching, okay, Tamerlane, and then I go, right, and then this guy fucks off, and they're all like, woo, that's what we're here for. Like...
Yeah, Tamerlane's cool. I like Tamerlane. Oh gosh, all right. What was I saying? Something? No, we're not on Earth. Oh my god.
Oh, Stuffed Beagle is here.
All right, so Stuffed Beagle, I was going to say hello, Stuffed Beagle, and I think I saw Bernie as well in there somewhere. Hello, Bernie, Mr. Anderson, Brian Evans, Tippy Sherry. What?
I said Bernie told me he couldn't join the stream because he was busy helping Mother Bernie, so he better not be in those comments.
Yeah. Oh well, jeez, Bernie, you've been sprung, mate. Yeah, don't Bernie the cooking with Mrs. Bernie, or Bernie the house down. Bernie down the house.
I came so fast to film this with you that I had to take the glass from the pub. That's how quick I had to run.
Did you used to be a student at one stage? Is your house?
No, never. That's why I do this. You see, I missed out. To be fair, though, I still live with my family, but if I moved out right now, all my cabinets would be stolen beer glasses. That's all I own.
Exactly right. That's all you own, yes. All right, so let's get in and have a look at some pictures before we
Yeah,
talk for
brilliant. I've
another
sent you
hour. 11 minutes
that.
in, 141 of you watching. Look at that, 145. Haha, beat you, sucker. All right, so 145 of you. If you'll go across and subscribe to Ancient Historia, then he will be a happy chappy, and he can show it to his mum, and she will
Yeah.
like him
Why
because
is
of the
someone saying
likes.
Bernie burnt me? Why did Bernie burn me?
Bernie burn me? Bernie burn me. I think it was because
Yeah,
I
no,
was talking about Bernie.
no.
Bernie.
I just got a message on
Oh,
my
now
Discord
Beagle.
from. I
Oh,
got a message on my
see, I'm
Discord
not on
from
the Discord
from
yet.
Mr. Anderson saying that Bernie burnt me. So I'm looking out for that.
Oh, Mr. Anderson.
Mr.
Yeah,
Anderson.
that's copyright infringement, Beagle. I'm sorry. I own the only word, and with a name after it, I own that. So
Oh,
you
I think
can't.
he's watching.
I
Why
don't
are you
know.
just saying
I've
that?
got a
I don't
good
know. Oh,
network
wait.
marketing business that I can get you into, though.
No,
Just
I'm
point.
only
It's
joking,
called
Anderson.
Onlys,
If
and
you watch it, don't worry. No. Bernie is he's left. You see, he's helping mother Bernie.
Bernie is. Yes. Only. Oh my
Don't worry,
gosh.
mate.
See, copyright infringement.
London man is
So
here.
yeah.
Oh fuck!
Anyway, Beagle thinks that Luke should show more skin to get more likes and subs. So if you agree, put a 1 in the comment, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe a few more beers might get a bit of shoulder action out of
I
him.
tell
Who
you what,
knows?
if someone sends me £25 to my buy me a coffee, I'll take the hoodie off, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Oh, there you go, ladies. Can you resist? There you go. Who knows? He might even be able to do that thing where he bounces his pectoral muscles. Who knows? We'll have to find out. Stay tuned.
I'm not making that promise.
You'll have to wait and see. We have to get the hoodie off first. So there you go. Only buy him a coffee. I don't know what the link is, but it's somewhere. Go to his channel. Look at him. He needs coffee.
You got
It's late.
five coffees.
All right.
£25. There's 5 coffees. One coffee.
I'll buy him. Sorry. How many coffees is that? He needs 10 coffees. Yeah, clearly. 5 coffees. Is it £5 a coffee? Oh.
Yeah, it's £5
okay.
a coffee. So 5
so we're
coffees.
Not talking.
I guess a little bit of this, and then we got the socks to go through, and then we'll be down to the real gear. Can you actually imagine if I end up naked on this stream?
I don't see anyone. Can't see any ones yet, so let's do a presentation. We'll come back and we'll see if there's money and a willfulness to derobe Luke.
Yeah, let's just look at history.
Let's look at history.
This is not what Mother.
All right, can everyone see that?
This is not what Mother wants.
I know.
I got 10,000.
I know, right? You're gonna try and get famous. I just wanted to be a YouTube personality. I have no idea how I became an OnlyFans model.
Yeah, what is an OnlyFans, mummy, and why am I getting so much money?
Indeed.
I'm getting messages from. This is what
1876.
My phone, right? I'm getting messages.
Oh, because you're getting messages.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly.
Please.
Bernie is upset
because him while he's
yeah, stop it, Bernie. No, Bernie's upset because he thought we were going live in an hour from now, even though I told him we were going live in an hour ago. So, Bernie's concept of time has been
Bernie's on Canadian time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like drug dealer time.
Yeah, Canadian. Yeah, they're not sure what it's all about.
Exactly. They say an hour. They mean 9 days.
I'm working on my Canadian accent. Apparently, if you just say "a" after a sentence, that's a Canadian accent.
Oh, really?
What do you think of this picture, eh?
Oh yeah, it looks like a good picture, eh? Oh yeah, eh? Oh, I could see that, eh?
Hey,
Oh no, I just sound kind of
hey.
like I'm from New Zealand, don't I?
Now you're sounding a bit like a Kiwi. Yeah, yeah. I think.
Yeah, no, I sound like I'm
Yeah,
proper
that's
from.
interesting. Kiwis and
Oh, eh?
Canadians.
No, I'm not
Where are
from.
you from, eh?
I'm not
I am
from.
from
No,
Canada,
I'm not
eh?
from.
Where are you from?
No.
I'm a Kiwi, eh?
I kind of sound a bit like Sassy. You
Oh my
must have
god.
seen Sassy the Sasquatch, right?
The what?
You know, all right, mate. No, Donny, step aside.
No. That
You fucking drug
must
addict.
be purely British.
You've not
What's
seen that,
that?
mate. You need to look up Big Les Show on
What's
YouTube.
it called?
Big
Big
Les Show.
Les. Oh my god, no.
Yeah,
I've
man.
seen
Now
Meet the
he's got a.
Feebles. That's
Now there's a guy called Sassy, and he's a Sasquatch, and he sounds like exactly like this. Fucking no, mate. You need to go watch it. It's fucking brilliant. So all based in Australia. Anyway,
yeah,
back on
no,
with the
it's
history.
based in Australia.
Yeah.
What?
So
How did I miss it? Yes,
It's in Browntown, Australia.
Browntown. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. You never heard of
All
Browntown?
right, I'll check that. All right, let's
Fucking
try to
drug
pull
addict.
this stream together for at least half an hour.
Yeah, no.
Note to self: don't do streams.
People are just watching us bond. Really, you came here for history. You're just watching friendship. Right.
Exactly right. We're bonding.
So
We're
let's
bonding
start anyway.
across nations and continents.
Thank you all for tuning in to another
Yes, the
episode of
centennial.
Ancient Historia. Today we're going to be looking at this centennial exhibition from Philadelphia in 1876. Now, this photo album has been put together by the official photographers of the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia, and we've got our hands on this album for you today to look through, which we're going to do any second now. Was that good?
So hold on to your seats. It's going to be quite a wild ride. Yeah, I thought that was quite good. You didn't sound drunk at all.
Thank you. Yeah. I've been working.
Bit authoritative, but yeah, no, it's very good. So it's like,
that's how people
and
like
we're coming down
it,
the straight.
yeah.
And at the straight, we have a huge building on the right, and in the middle, it's another huge building. It's long.
No. You sound like you're doing a dog race, like. And on the left, we have a building. Pulling up to the middle, we have a middle.
Coming up the middle is a fountain.
Coming up the middle is Antiquitech, and on the right we have railway lines. And
all right, this is something. This is a building. What are we looking at? I don't even.
Fuck's sake! It's right. You gotta learn to do this, right? This is why you need the music, all right? If you have the music, you can lean into it and you can be like, this is a building. There's lots of people outside.
And here we find ourselves in what is called a city, the natural environment of the building. And as you see on the left there, we have a building, and it is hiding behind the fountain. That's right, trying to creep up on its prey. There you go. That's
Welcome
my best favorite
to Philadelphia, the home ground of the Rocky, the boxer that shall smash your teeth in. He's looking for some steps to run up. Eye of the Tiger plays. It hasn't been invented yet. All right, let's actually look at these pictures.
Let's look at, what do we? All right, so here we have. Well, this is the fair. There's people here. There's train tracks.
No, there are people here. Yes. Not completely empty.
Is that people there? That's a lot.
Well, the quality is quite
empty.
good. If you zoom in a little bit, you should be able to get one picture at a time with decent quality.
All right. So here's 1876, Philadelphia, and we got trams here.
Oh yeah, don't forget all those trams
are
pulled by horses. They're pulled by horses at the moment.
Oh, they're horse trams.
Yeah, they have.
See, that makes so much sense to me. I mean, doesn't it make sense that when you've got a horse and cart, right, and a horse is pulling a cart and it can go anywhere it wants, it would make sense that you would then put in all this infrastructure, build carriages and that, so that a horse can now pull a cart, but it can't go where it wants. It can only go where the tracks are. That makes sense.
The one thing,
Don't you think?
I'd argue against it is like there is obviously the idea that if you remove the friction from one point to another, like a bus, but at that same point, you've got to imagine that there is a need for that. So there's a need to getting these people over there down here faster, and exactly. It's mass production, and then at the same point, it's like, why would you put in all these lines? Why would you go to the effort of putting in all these lines for horse-drawn carriages to speed them up by, fuck all, considering the streets are empty? You know, it's not like you're trying to divert traffic.
Exactly. And then you've got to stop them too, which is a whole nother issue. So it's, whatever's gained by, speed on the track is lost at the other end by trying to stop the thing, right?
I had never
and then you've got hills.
Thought about
it's got to be only flat, right?
Yeah.
You can't use horses on hills.
Yeah, I'm just imagining a horse stopping and just getting fucking taken out by the fucking carriage behind it. Like, oh shit.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, like,
exactly. And horses.
Like, oh wait. Go.
Yeah, and horses were like very, very valuable back then, Oh, what happened?
Well, you know what as well? What you'll notice is that the carriage cars that they change to, they do change a little bit, but they don't change a lot. Now, what you've got to remember that if you were going to electrify something, it isn't as simple as plugging it in. If you've got a little, toy car, you can't just plug it into the mains and that's now a car. Like, you have to add full-on systems to allow the electricals to work, to power this. You have your axles, etc. So if you consider you've got something that just goes on tracks and gets pulled, that's very simple. It just needs the wheels and the axles, right? Just to turn the corners. Now you've got to electrify that to go on its own. You can't just plug that in and now it works. You've got to add loads more. And what you'll notice is a lot of the time, these wagons barely change. It's almost as if the wagons were already capable of doing what they needed to do. They just didn't have the electricity. And that's
you mean the tram wagons and trolleys. Yeah, exactly, right. Exactly. The ones that are horse-drawn look exactly like the electrified ones.
Yeah, because in fact, you look at this, right? You can find this for Philadelphia, what we're talking about. They call it the electrifying of the tram system. And obviously it's electrifying, but a part of me feels like it's like, oh fuck, we found the button. Ooh. It's on.
Yeah,
because
I think it probably was. Yeah,
we got a delay, so I keep interrupting you. I'm really sorry.
You go. That's all right. You keep going.
Doing a good job.
You're on a roll. You're excited.
That's how it goes, man. That's why you're here for questions and claims.
Questions and claims, exactly. Questions and claims. The line. What's come?
This looks a bit sexual, doesn't it? This looks like we've caught the line in the moment, But also, notice here.
And he's not happy about it either. He's like,
wait, we've all seen The Lion King. We know what happens, right? You can see the horses there. They've got wings on, like Pegasus, right?
They got wings, man. Pegasus. Yeah,
definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah, very strange. And what always gets
that we've got Pegasus and unicorns. So here you go. I was just going to say, isn't it interesting that we have two horses? We've got wings and horns. Anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, there'll be more than that. But what I was going to say is the weirdest thing about a lot of these things is there's so much like sculptures and stuff, right? And we think of society today as being more free than society before. You consider like in old history there would have been more people had to struggle to get the things that you have today. So like the average farmer is going to have to struggle to feed himself in the same way that you can feed yourself today. But at the same time, it seems like there was more artisans in this time. There was more creative people. There's more people doing things, creating architecture, creating sculptures than there are today. And now, obviously, we have artisans in the sense of like books and films and media. Yeah, that is promoted. But how many sculptures are promoted today? That's not really something. How much architecture, beautiful architecture, is promoted today? Today, architecture is how many people can you fit into a multi-story square building? You know, that's architecture today. How many beautiful apartments can you fit into a small square building and charge the most money for it? Whereas in the old days,
and charge the most money for. Yeah.
oh yeah, that's it. But whereas in the old days, it was about how can we turn this tiny, useless, apparently useless building into this beautiful work of art that also, if it's doing no other function, at least it looks pretty and it's helping people to be happy. And I feel like that's the same with Star Force and their moats. Like I say this about the moats. If the moats were doing fuck all, why didn't they just leave them? Because the moats are promoting like an actual climate of stuff to happen. It's an atmosphere of shit. You've got the water there for you to feel happy. You can go to the side. You've got the fish swimming around. You've got all the fertilization that's happening in the soil, and then you've got all the shit that's happening with the actual animals themselves and the breeding and the feeding and everything. You're creating a climate in that sense. You're creating your own little area of of nature. And that's like for something that's already there to drain that and say, oh, no more moat. That's weird to me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Even if it's just like a not connected to a network, even the geometry, like geometry gives off fields. We know everything's energy, and like just doing things with a certain geometry will give off a certain field, right? A certain frequency. So just on the shape alone with water around it, I mean, that would have an effect. But it's like, that's the problem. Like everything's done for the dollar now. Like, the successful, like you said, the successful architect is one who can, get the most $1 million apartments into the smallest building kind of thing, right? It's not someone who creates the most amazing building.
It goes so much deeper than this, because obviously we're looking at buildings. I don't want to get into the fucking economy, but it even goes into me going out tonight. Right? Like I used to enjoy going out. I'm 28 years old, and I enjoy seeing my friends. I enjoy seeing people. But I realized this, like I went out tonight, right? One drink is £5, right? It's £5 for a beer. It's more than that. But if you have 10 pints tonight, you spent 50 quid, right? So now I'm not caring about myself. I'm thinking about the people that are in the bar, right? They are all working Monday to Friday. And at Friday night, they walk into the bar and they hand 50 quid over to the bar owner. Here's 50 quid, get me drunk. And then the next day they do it. And then obviously there's all the extras and shit, what they do, kebabs, etc., travel, all that. But fuck that. The point is that it's just another tax on the working man, because you are working, you are stressed. Oh, well, come on in, come drink from the company tap, be happy. Just because it has a different name on it, just because your company says one name and the bar says another, doesn't mean that they're different. You're walking from your company to your bar, you're having your drink, and you're giving your funds back, right? Oh, this is what I've earned. Take it fucking right back. And that is how society is twisted. Well, it is. It's twisted. So that if you're not out with your friends, you're lonely, you're at home and you're alone, or go out, spend alcohol, drink some of this, it's fine, just go. And that's the whole point, is that's the way society itself is tailored, is that we are nothing more than items to just consume. And you know what I mean? To them, we're nothing. We're not people. We don't matter. We're just consumption robots to buy their shit and keep them in your.
Yeah. The first like businesses, factories and that, like, literally like Hershey's chocolate and Heinz and all these companies we have, they started off as pre-built towns with a factory, and they had all the houses and that, and they just filled them with orphans basically. And they says, here's your house, now just go and work 12 hours a day. And then once they got established, they then started charging the workers for the houses and stuff and for the food. And yeah, they just started taking the money back off them. It's just
exactly like
such a scam. It's because no one can look after themselves anymore. You know, not many people can grow their own food, can build their own house, can make their own energy. They're being taught to plug into the system.
When you go back in time, that like, as in, if you were to take a tribe of people and separate them, they would be fucked, because they all had their own individual jobs. You know what I mean? As in, not all of them are the farmers, not all of them are the warriors, not all of them are the constructors. Like, we all have our own individual jobs, and it isn't about like, you know, you should be able to provide for yourself independently. But what it is about is moving all that ability to provide for yourself away. It isn't about, you know what I mean? You shouldn't feel bad that you can't hunt, or that you can't fucking, you know, gather berries. You shouldn't feel bad about that. What you should feel bad about is the fact that your government is taking away that ability to do that. That you can't just go and take some space and farm some shit. You know, you have to own the land. You have to buy this. You have to buy that. That's what's been taken away from you, and it's all been put into a price. It's like freedom. So, for example, for me, right, if I want to get away from England, it's miserable, right? It is a nice place to live, but it's miserable in the sense of weather and everything. The people are kind of miserable, and I want to get away somewhere hotter, right? But I can't do that without money. Once I've got money, I can go. But obviously, my job would be in England. My job's not in, you know, in Spain. So you are enslaved to where your job is. Like, you unless you have disposable income, you can't just move. Like, I couldn't just come now and live with you in Australia and say, fuck it, I'll get a job here, because I've got to prove to your government that I'm not going to be a waste, and I'm going to have a job, and I'm going to have this, and we have that. And if I don't have that, I'm fucked. So I'm not free. I'm stuck where I am.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I mean, but also, I mean, you know, we're in this time, right, where we now have options. You know, you've just found out. You know, I got sacked because of the whole. You know, they sacked the whole workforce because of the whole jabby to jab, and kind of the best thing that ever happened. You know, because it made me get out and do other things. I also happen to, you know, not be able to use one of my arms, so I couldn't do much, but it forced me to do something right. And that's the thing, as long as we're giving value, you know, it's more community based. So this is the thing, instead of looking to, you know, these big, you know, bloody global companies, we should be looking to each other, right? We should be supporting the small businesses. And it's like you said, you know, someone might be good at growing food and someone else might be good at carpentry. And, you know, if everyone's got their own skills and puts in value, then we're fine. It's just when we rely on an outside source, because we can see what's happening. Right? Look what they're doing now.
Weirdly,
they just mess with it. They just increase the price.
I feel like this is why they've targeted in a weird way. Yeah, this is why I feel like they've targeted in a weird way, like the socialism aspect. Oh, here's Bernie. But right, I want to finish this before Bernie gets involved, because people will wonder what I'm talking about, right? So, for example, if we were to do that environment of like,
is that Bernie? I just heard.
But like, you know what I mean, right? Bernie, shush for a sec. I love you. Just one sec. Let me finish this before my brain goes. Right. So if we were to have a society where, like, let's say I grew the weed, you grew the food, and Bernie, you know, fucking makes all the magic gold dust, right? The point is oops, we've accidentally stepped into socialism. Oops, you know, because, you know, you do this, you do that, oops, we're accidentally socialists. And that is why I feel like they've attacked socialism, to make you feel like that's a terrible, horrible thing, because having an independent skilled job kind of thing is, oh, that's bad, it all has to be free market, you know. And I feel like that's a bit of a trick, because how can it be free market if you, like you say, if we were in a community where you know, us three have to survive together, and let's say I'm good at doing this, you're good at doing that, then we'll just do that. We don't think about money. It's only when you introduce money that you suddenly start going, oh, well, I'm not getting my fair share because I do this, so I deserve a little bit more money because I'm doing this. If you just remove that money aspect and think, oh, it's just about us and life and just being friends, and just, you know, that's what's important.
Well, yeah, the capitalism is not a free market. It's captured capitalism, and it's phony crony capitalism is the true term. where it's a combination of communist and fascist, all technocracy that we are in. Sorry.
But I feel like they've purposely made it so convoluted.
No one wants to see my book.
Right, sorry, yeah. No, I was gonna say, I
just
feel like they've made it so personally like convoluted, so that we're all arguing over, oh well, you know, I'm this, I'm that, but you never focus on like the real problem. So like, I mean, if you even go to the Bible, right, this is one of the best examples. Jesus, he comes to what is it, the mosque or whatever, you know, wherever he was, and he comes to pray, and he says
temple.
Yeah, well, yeah. He comes to that and he says, "Look, I'm going to pray." And he sees people trading and taking taxes and stuff, and he goes mental.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, and he says the phrase,
"Flips over the table."
Yeah, no, but he says, "You cannot do this in my Father's house," right? And now, religion, Christianity especially, loves to say, "Well, by this he means the church." But you will see Jesus refer to his Father's house as the world. He literally says, you live in somebody's field. What will you do when the farmer returns? Referring to God. He's saying you live in God's field. This is his house. You live in it. So what he's saying is, you can't trade in God's world, not in his church. Why would God care if you're a dick? Church? Would God really care if you were an asshole tax man in his church, but if you go outside and do the same thing, he'd be like, oh, that's okay? No, God would be like, you're still a dickhead. So that fits. You cannot trade and do taxes and this in God's world. It fits with like Native Americans that say we don't own the land, we borrow it from Mother Earth. You know, like and again, go into the Quran. I mean, the Quran will tell you cannot lend money expecting profit. You can lend money, but you cannot expect profit.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly the same as give and you shall receive. You know, it doesn't say given you shall receive. It doesn't say, you know, give to receive. It just says if you give, you will receive. It doesn't
say give one to receive two.
It's just about the giving.
Yeah, exactly. And this is how it's twisted.
Just about the giving.
Right, because obviously people be like, oh, wait, Mr. Priest. So if the Bible tells me not to do this, then you know, why am I paying my taxes, and why am I going to work every day and paying for this? And they go, oh no, keep paying your taxes, keep it.
Right? Yeah, no, that's just in the church.
Exactly, but Jesus said this shouldn't happen. Why did he say it?
In the church as I enter church?
Because he's saying it corrupts, though, isn't he?
And just one thing before I forget it is
people.
Yeah, and what are they trying to do now? Like, you know, you were saying, do not trade. Like, what have we heard over the last couple of years? Right, if you don't do certain things, you won't be able to trade in their system.
Yeah, exactly.
In this false kind of system, right? So this is the whole.
I mean, mate, that right. When you think about it, though, that's been going deeper for way longer, because if you're not from a country, you can't go and trade. You know, you have to have the right to trade somewhere. And now, obviously, as people that are living in the Western world, we never even consider this. And now, as an English person who, whose countrymen brilliantly voted for Brexit, I can now sit here and say, arseholes, because I can't now go to Spain and do this. I can't just move to Spain and do this same shit I could have done 5 years ago, but because of some dickheads, I can't. But that's the point.
Don't swear while I'm in the Lord's house.
Oh my God! The stuff people want to. What? This is turning into a bloody roundhouse.
In a couple minutes, as soon as I'm out. Sorry, I had to scream down.
It's all right. The point is that we've got these restrictions, and it's all financial. Like, if you were rich, you could move wherever you want. You know, you could, like, Rupert Murdoch. He's Australian, but he's actually American. He has an American fucking passport because he's so fucking rich. They were like, "Come on in."
He's a fox, man.
Oh yeah, exactly.
He's a globalist.
Yeah, exactly. They don't care how much genocide.
Because it's all corporations, and they just. Yeah, it's all. There are no countries.
This
you know what's
the truth.
Corporatocracy.
The countries don't exist. Like, they do, but they don't. As in, the rich, the companies are above this. So the best example of this is in World War II, right? When it all kicked off, Coca-Cola it hit that point where everyone was like, you've got to stop selling to the Nazis. So what did? They split into two companies, German Coca-Cola and American Coca-Cola, completely nothing to do with each other. Of course, they were selling Coke, and then guess what? They run out of sugar, and there's two of me. No, they run out of sugar, and they can't make Coca-Cola anymore. So what do? They look around. They go, oh well, we'll make Fanta. So if you've ever drank Fanta, that was actually made for the Nazis because they ran out of the stuff necessary to make Coca-Cola. Yeah, and in fact, you can find maps of Europe with Fanta bottles on the capitals of each city saying "Drink Fanta for victory." Drink Fanta for victory, right?
For
that
victory.
Is what. Yeah, I'm serious, right? Because they don't care. They're the same company.
Things haven't changed, though, have they?
But yeah, do you really think Coca-Cola were on the phone and they went, Pascal, we are going to have to turn off the French department of the Coca-Cola. Oh no, we cannot do this. Oh no, we're going to have to do this. Oh no, I'm very sorry. We'll never speak to you again, you bastards. Put the phone down. It's bollocks. It's the same company. It's the same. Right. In Russia today, you've got HSBC, the bank still fucking, it's still being a bank in HSBC.
In a church that my mom's NGO rents the basement office. So it's like my mom's office in the basement of this church. So
your mom has an office in the basement of a church. Okay, I want to tell you this now. Your mom might be
in the basement. What?
She does peace and reconciliation work with the South Sudanese and Ghana, Sierra Leone.
Mom's not a sacrifice.
No, definitely not. But she might be the key or the gatekeeper because her name is Janice.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, Illuminati confirmed.
Out of interest, are your audience enjoying this conversation, or are they like, will you guys fucking...
Yes, are the audience enjoying this conversation? Let us know, or should we look at actual history stuff? Are you waiting? Oh God, now there's a stuff legal here. We look at actual history stuff.
Hello.
What is going on, dude? We're getting bombed. Luke and I just wanted to have
the £15 necessary.
Like, hey, babe, do you want to do a stream together in an hour? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I will. Next thing I do, I look at my phone and you guys are streaming, and I'm like, what the WF? So of course I had to jump on.
You know what the problem is? It's those Canadian watches. The Canadian watches are made by Trudeau, and they're all a bit slow.
Don't call me buddy, guys.
What's going on, guys? To go for a little bit.
Hey,
guys. I'll hop back.
Welcome. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Yes. And can you exchange your potato for an actual microphone, Bernie? Oh, he's gone.
We're pretty good.
Biggs from the underground. How you going? Down there with the Ninja Turtles?
Oh, I tell you what, though, Campbell, if enough of your subscribers subscribe to me, I might be able to afford a new laptop by the end of the week, and we won't have to do this painful.
There we go.
You're still on the phone?
And we still have
on your cell phone?
Oh, yeah. iPhone all the way, mate.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough. That's hard to do a live stream.
I'll tell you, that's my dedication to you. Like, I want to be here.
We still haven't, No one wants you to take your hoodie off yet, mate. We're still waiting for donations. He will take his hoodie off for £25. Or is it euros? Pounds? You're back to pounds, aren't you?
I'm telling you, y'all got to show that skin.
£25. and it won't be skin because he's an Englishman and he's probably got about 15 shirts on. And when we finally delayer him, he's going to glow. He'll look enlightened. He's so white.
I got me a new chair this week.
Skin brothers.
I actually have some kind of like mystery package Asian in me, so I bronze like a Greek god.
Jeez. Don't get excited, girls. A mystery package. Okay. Enough said. You go, Begs.
No, to be fair, I actually thought
maybe you can raise
would work out.
Maybe you can raise the tone of the conversation a bit.
Oh, I don't expect much.
Anyway,
were y'all looking at those pictures that I was
am going
the essential exposition? Y'all were you looking at those?
I'm going to the toilet quickly. I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, do us a favor. Wait, put up the exposition and put that photo back up and go on like the first one or something so we can see it, because I think Beagle would really appreciate this. Or give the screen to Beagle.
And now, was this the pictures that we were looking at the other day, or is this a different set, or what's the deal?
How do I get Beagle a screen?
I have no clue, man.
Beagle,
I'm not the same.
Here, boy. Here, boy.
Oh, let me.
Come on, come and get the screen. Come and get it.
Oh, take the screen,
Sorry.
Beagle.
How do I give him the screen?
I don't
think I can.
Take the screen.
Take it, Beagle.
How do I do that?
Reach out with your hand.
Beagle. John Luke.
What do I do?
John Luke.
Take it.
Beagle. Take it. You have the power. It's within you. Take it. Use the force, Beagle.
Seriously, how do I take over? I don't know how to do it.
I got no idea at all. Is it even possible? I don't know.
I don't know.
Let me.
Can you do? Oh, I know. Can you share screen, Beags?
Yeah, I was
because
actually
the links in the private chat.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Do that.
Go to private chat. Private chat has got the link to the book, and then you can show it from your screen, from your end. Well, not your end, because we've all seen that on a recent video from Tartarian Truth, but we won't talk about that. Bit cheeky.
I don't see it in the private chat.
Oh wait, it might. Right, one sec. Let me repost it.
Oh, maybe.
Hang
on. I'll repost it.
I've just done it. There you go.
Hang on, I've got it.
I'm trying.
No, I've done it. Can you see that?
There was something I was going to show you.
Now there's about 3 of them.
I don't remember where it was.
You click any of those.
Share screen. Any of those, and I'll be back before I pee my pants.
Okay. All right. There it goes. All right. Bear with me here.
I am in control now. I
Share
am
screen.
autodidactic. You will.
Okay. Cotton States. Is that what we're showing?
What?
Cotton States.
It's the link, bro. Click the link, and then it says like a Centennial Exposition in the middle. It's like a book.
Do you see it?
I don't see shit, bro.
You don't see nothing? It doesn't say library company. The library company.
No. I just see you and me talking.
What the hell? What have I done?
If you guys donate now £25 to my Buy Me a Coffee, I will remove this hoodie.
Oh, I think I see what I've done. Okay, wait a minute. I know what I need to do. Bear with me, folks. I haven't done it this way before, so
if someone sends £50, I'll come back in a onesie.
I'm telling you, you got to show skin. You got to show that skin.
Okay.
I got it now. Okay.
I'll give you that arm. Okay, that's all you get. Yeah, this arm.
This should do it. Do you see that? Library Company of Philadelphia?
No, I don't see shit, but it's lagging. So, nope.
What do you?
You're on the right thing, but we're not seeing it. So I think Cambell might not have sent your screen over.
No. You got to be seeing it.
Well, I'm not seeing it, mate.
Oh, I bet he has to click.
Yeah.
Share.
Damn.
So
what I want you to do is describe to us what you're seeing, and we'll do our best.
Okay, it's a building, and it's got really fuzzy hair.
Right, one second. I need my notepad.
British.
I need my notepad. I can't do this without a notepad. Right.
I actually had something I was going to share with you, and I don't.
It's all right. Come on, tell me more. Come on, building, and it's fuzzy.
What was that thing we were looking at the other day? I found it.
Quiet, Bernie. He's describing something very important. Come on, Beagle.
I found something that goes with the.
I mean that is you shared the screen, but you're on completely the wrong thing. So I've got to give you a 10 out of 10 and a 0 out of 10 at exactly the same time.
How did I do that?
I don't know. You are amazing and retarded.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. This is the same exhibition that we were looking at.
Showing now.
Yeah, I've got fuzzy building written down. Okay, more notes.
But this is like different. This isn't the same thing you and I were looking at. It's the same exhibition.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I found some interesting stuff when I was digging through here. Let me. I'm just going through.
I've got my notepad ready, mate. I'm ready.
Write this down.
Oh, I'm right.
Show more skin. There.
Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm trying. I know.
Right. I've got fuzzy building down so far. All right.
He went to the bathroom. Okay, I'm getting more to the pictures. Bear with me, folks. I'm digging through a digital.
He's actually lying.
Not on camera
because of how boring this was.
Okay, we're getting into something now. Okay. Okay, y'all see
that boring enough for you?
Yeah. You guys are about to start getting my subscribers in, and they are just here for laughs. Like, they don't care about history. They're just here to hear me swear. Like, that's all I'm here for.
This is like inside the exhibition, I guess.
Oh yeah, it is. Zoom in on that exhibition. Show us deeper into that exhibition. What is that in the middle?
It's some kind of weird ass display.
Oh yeah, it is. Show us
people. It's not zooming in other than clicking in. It goes in a little bit.
Oh yeah. Click further.
Click it.
Look at those lights around me. Wow. So illuminated.
Y'all, were you looking at that same set we were looking at the other day? I think you were.
Ooh, what is this? Zoom in on this. What are they selling? I actually genuinely am interested. I'm putting the book away now. Okay, I'm not pretending anymore.
This is the inside the exhibition. This is all the shit you wouldn't show nobody. This is this is the stuff that even Shem wouldn't show.
This is the video Ancient Historia won't give you.
Yeah, this is it. This is the stuff.
This is such a shit show that with Tartarian Truth watching, it would inevitably show up on his channel. Shem, I sent you the link that you can just join in the stream instead if you want.
Yeah,
that's
Shem,
a really pretty fountain. I like that. That's a neat
join the
fountain.
shit show, Shem.
Yeah, this is basically you know, we don't know what we're doing. We do this from time to time. We just throw ourselves out there and see what happens. Oh wow, look at that fountain there.
No, to be honest, what happened here, guys, was I promised that I had some really serious information to share with you guys. And then the minute everyone got here, I just removed my mask and was like, haha, I got you again.
And I believed him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They all believe me. So subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I will delete all these guys' channels right now. I have the power.
Please do.
No, you don't.
Delete.
There's some techie bits on top.
No, but honestly, I am the young putty that holds this group together. So support me, and you support the team.
Junior researcher.
Oh, exactly. He likes to call me Junior.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually sick. Fucking what the fuck is that?
That's neat.
Zoom in on that, please, sir.
That is really.
That's the glass flowers, right?
I love how you zoomed in and it got us like an inch closer.
Right? I noticed that. Yeah. No, they went in closer that time when I hit.
Oh yeah, it did. Oh,
there's actually a guy painting on there. Look at him. He's just. It's crazy looking. There's a dude on the roof.
But, right. Again, look at the way that the scaffolding is around it, as if they're repairing it, not building it.
I think they're finishing it off.
Well, no, for real. But I just I get this feeling from the way I've seen these buildings is that they were there before something. Well, not necessarily before something, actually, but they were there before something that somebody wants to hide. So, for example, like the Crystal Palace, 1851 in London, somebody wants to hide the age of that building.
You know, I think what they did was they kind of just on some of these exhibitions, maybe they just came upon the construction of them in mid construction.
No, I think they've right. Imagine you've got this building and it's been destroyed by a comet or a tsunami or something, right? And you're just left with the iron framework. That's what I think they were left with.
Look at that's crazy. Old steam engine right there.
But yeah, the iron framework of the buildings makes sense because then it would be up to the people of the time to do what they want with it. So, for example, if it was 1851 and all you could do was stick glass on it, then you make a Crystal Palace. But if it's 1876 and you learned to do a bit with fucking plaster and stuff, then you could actually put a nice facade on the building. And I think that's what we're seeing is like buildings that have been decorated in varying ways from early periods to later periods, because when you consider the actual construction of these buildings as opposed to the decoration, it's insane. And when you look for these pictures, like, you'll struggle to find anything. I mean, I won't die on this hill. I won't say that they're not constructed by us. I just feel like there's something odd about these places. The pictures seem to be
yeah, I think there's something is off. I can't exactly say what or what I really think happened.
I mean,
but I think something's wrong.
I would accept the theory of like a pre-industrial era revolution. So imagine in the 14th century, if we had an industrial revolution and then a giant war that killed everyone off or something. And then for some reason in the 20th century, they're trying to hide the fact that we had an industrial revolution in the 14th. That would make sense to me. It makes sense with like why churches have these weird minarets on top and all the,
That's weird.
It'd fit with a mud flood, wouldn't it? And you think about it, if we had like a industrial society, think of 1800s London, and then that got mud flooded, and then we all had to start again, but we didn't quite know how to do all the stuff.
Sorry guys, my phone's about to die. Hopefully Campbell gets back soon. I sent Tartarian Truth the link, so Shem might join in. But my phone's dying, so I gotta go. See you guys in a little bit.
Okay, Burn. See you later. Take care.
No worries. I'm just gonna cover on Mike for a second, Cam.
I think Cam got stuck on the John.
Oh well, I'm worried for him. I'm still here. I'm just doing something that isn't allowed to be caught on camera.
That's wild right there. Why would you? That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. It's so strange to have the statue kind of done already, yet the dome isn't done. Is that weird, or is that? Whoa! What did I do?
Did you click it?
No, it just got really big all of a sudden. That was weird.
Which statue are you looking at the top?
I don't know. It's on one of the buildings.
All right. Well, you know what? Right. Zoom into the top of that building. One thing I would say is that there is zero scaffolding or cranes around that.
Yeah, how'd they get that up there? I don't know.
Now, obviously, they could have moved them, but the point is like.
I mean, I'm fascinated by the in Philadelphia, the William Penn statue that's 35 feet tall and it's on the top of the building. That one just kills me. Have you ever seen that one on the City Hall?
Nope, not seeing it.
That one's really
cool. Look
at
the inside of this. Right, bearing in mind, these buildings are supposed to be temporary buildings, and they are mostly assumed to be made of like staff, which is basically plaster.
That ain't staff.
Exactly. Look at that. Ridiculous. What?
That is archwork underneath.
Whoa. Look at that.
Floor.
That looks like arcades down the middle. See these? These arcades usually are part of like a viaduct or an aqueduct or some kind of water system. You can see them there again on the right. Look, look on the left and the right of this pit in the middle are arcades, which should indicate some kind of water system. Okay, think of an aqueduct or a viaduct. That's where arcades come into it. So either buried building or some kind of water system there. And
it's got a Moorish look to it in the architecture there.
But fuck the architecture and look below. Just below the architecture, you can see the rings that are undecorated. Those arcades, undecorated. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And look how deep they go. It's like they're unearthing those. They're not building them.
I think I remember reading somewhere that this building supposedly, quote unquote, had a basement room with displays in it, but this doesn't look like a basement room. This looks like something that's buried.
They've unearthed that. Look at this entire middle structure. They've unearthed, and what
horticulture hall or building.
They've built on top of it. And right, this is the same thing they do with Star Force. Okay, so in my most recent Star Force video, the German one, there is a couple where I show you how underneath is definitely more. Right, so what they've done is they found this Star Fort, and the tip of it that's out, that's exposed, they've turned that into the military bit, and they've gone, oh, it's just military stuff, right? And everyone focuses on the tip of these Star Forts, but they don't focus on what's underneath. And this is the same with this shit. The building they put on top isn't the amazing bit. It's the fucking buried building. It's all the shit that's underground that's actually crazy. Because look, they're unearthing it. They're not building it. They're unearthing it.
Look at that, running pipes under it.
Oh,
Hello.
look who's back. Mr. Ancient Historian.
No, you're ancient historian, dude. I'm autodidactic.
Yeah. Subscribe to Cambell Ancient Historia.
Sorry, I'm checking a message.
Nice.
I got distracted.
No, but really though, all of you watching, can you genuinely just subscribe to me until I get 10K and show my mom, and then you can fuck off after that. But
so would your mom be really surprised if you
no, she'd just be really happy because like my dad passed away last year, and like I went a bit down a hole, and I and then I told her I'm making YouTube videos, and I think she was thinking like oh, okay, so
yeah, like whatever, but then she sees this and
if it's successful, I feel like she might be like, whoa. Wow.
Right, yeah, that's cool.
Man, this is valid research. We're not like Mr. Beast kind of YouTubers.
When I first told her, like,
community service,
people are going to want to hear me talk about history and every now and then tell someone to fuck off, like, and then she would have been like, that's crazy. No one's going to hear.
That's
You're supposed to be a well-spoken Englishman.
Well, I mean, that is my entire shtick. So I talk professionally, and then at the end of that, I summarize it quite colloquially.
I'm going to create F-bomb Luke.
No, that's it. So I'll start off.
So this and this and this, and if you don't even believe me, then F you.
No, not like that. No,
you must be good at Monty Python.
So Tamerlane invaded Shiraz, conquered the empire, and then had the Tibet rang in his name. Okay. So at that point, he slaps some motherfuckers, and they're reasonably assuming that this cunt is fucking real, right? And that's the point where people are like, okay.
Yes. Luke, I hadn't told you about it, but I've got an idea for a video that we might do when I've got the energy to do it, but it'll be real simple. You'll enjoy it. It's about Vanilla Skies.
Oh, so, brilliant! Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know about that. I got a fun idea. We're gonna try something nifty and new and see what happens.
There you go.
Maybe
we need to start a new genre.
Really
history comedy.
Yeah,
I think it's sadly been missing since. Oh, did you? Shakespearean?
Yeah, nothing big. No.
I can see you up there with a crown.
I've always wanted to be a comedian, so it's quite interesting that I've ended up finding like a job that mixes the two, so I can talk about history, but then I can just be a little bit funny,
Well, yeah, I think
laugh
it's funny.
at laugh at pictures.
We laugh at each other all the time, We're
comes from it. Like yesterday I was filming this Tamerlane video, and it's talking about how he invades a fort with 60 followers, and I'm talking about how it's ridiculous, and then you can just cut to the next minute, like, and he failed, and like there's comedy that can be done with it, like so. I think it is. It's just one of those things. Like,
there's actually a channel called
Does that
what's it
real to
called?
y'all?
Messed Up History or something, like something history, and it does history, but it does it like mainstream, but it does like a sort of comical view of it.
Well, I think
but I mean that'd be, you know,
the main thing that I wanted to go for was
I
that
think,
I
that'd be a
want to talk
interesting
about the
thing.
history, and I want to talk about the actual history. I want to say, you know, the in-depth bit, but then I want to summarize it. So if you're someone that's listening and wants to hear the summary, that's where I kind of make it a bit more funny, you know, where I can summarize. I'll read the whole thing and then I'll be right. So Tamerlane is now the absolute gangster. He's slapped every motherfucker and he is in charge, you know, and like. That's just it's just a more colloquial way to address the situation. You know, it isn't being all professional, like, oh, Tamerlane is the emperor, you know, like, I don't give a shit about that. I want to say it funny, you know, enjoy it. Like, I want to talk to people as if I'm having a beer with you and tell it you in that way. You know, I know you don't care about Tamerlane, so I'm going to tell it you in an entertaining way. Yeah, drunk history, exactly.
There you go. Drunk history. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're having a pint with me.
I mean, I was going to say,
like,
there's definitely there's a gap there since Monty Python stopped making movies. I think there's a big gap there for satirical history, drunk history. What did someone else say? Tartarian.
Drunken history.
Tartarian. The thing is, though, is I'm actually trying to stop drinking, so I'd really like it if we did veer away from drunk history, because that sounds amazing. That really, you know, as I throw back the drink to click on more photos, what are we gonna see? Yeah, that sounds amazing. Don't encourage me.
There's some techie bits on that one.
That will not impress Mother, you know. Mom, I've got 10,000.
No.
They watch me drink and look at pictures.
Oh, no,
what do you do? I get drunk on camera.
No, she'd be there. Like, fair enough. You've turned a weakness into a strength there, Luke. You've turned alcoholism into a fucking joy. Like, yeah, that might be.
Yeah, gotta look for the positive and the negative. Yeah.
Oh man.
And I mean, seriously, what funny Englishman isn't a drunk anyway? I mean, look at all, you know, they're all drunks, right? Dave Allen and all these.
Oh, I tell you what, if you guys are uneducated, right? If you want to laugh your ass off tonight, okay? After this stream ends, you look up a guy called Frankie Boyle. He's Scottish, and you watch one of his live shows, okay? Frankie Boyle, you will cry laughing, okay? I guarantee it. The guy is the best thing that ever happened. Because Scottish people have this ability, right, where they can say the most evil thing, and you will just take it as a joke. I'm not kidding.
Well, they've got the accent, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, you'd have trouble arguing with a Scotsman because you just look like the bad guy, like trying to be all high and mighty, and he'd be like everyone's mate.
A Scotsman could recommend the resurrection of the Third Reich, and it would sound like a reasonable thing. Okay?
Exactly. Nobody knows if Billy Connolly's actually funny or not yet. They just know he's got a really funny accent, and he says things in a cool way.
Right? Okay, I'm not saying that.
Right? Funny. I'll give him that.
I'm just saying a little bit of genocide. Just a little bit of genocide.
Oh my God! What? How did Shem get in here?
What's Shem? I'm just saying a little bit of genocide.
That building is humongous.
Hang on, you can't talk about that subject with our next guest. Apparently, what are you doing? Hi, Shem. How did you?
Oh, hey,
I feel like I'm being invaded here.
You are. It's Bernie's fault.
Welcome. How you doing?
By a guy that couldn't decide that he was Aragorn or Legolas, so he chose both.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Bernie keeps inviting me. I stop by and say what's up.
First time I think you're meeting Beaks, so this I think is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Big
wants to thank you for exposing him to the world.
Pictures here right now. Hi. I can't see anything.
What's up, man?
You can't see
blinded
anything.
by
Oh.
love.
Yeah. So
What can y'all see? I don't
Oh,
even know
look,
what
it's
y'all.
a construction photo.
I've been showing
Why are they-
construction
what?
photos.
Oh, that's
I love showing construction photos because they always
Construction.
say there's no construction photos. You don't show construction photos. Yes, I
yeah,
do.
but and
To
they've
be
always got
fair,
a ladder, but no
when they say
tools.
construction photos, what they mean is like we're building something on the inside or we're repairing something on the outside.
Yeah,
It's
of
not
a
actual-
massive. Yeah, look at the building it's in.
Yeah. As in,
Don't
like,
have to build a foundation or anything. Just
Like,
whack
look,
it
yeah,
up.
this is a good example.
And that's the
of it,
thing.
right?
I could agree that they were definitely made out of plaster for sure.
Oh,
Look,
by
they ran the
the way,
train tracks
remember as
through that
well.
one.
Look at those train tracks, and just remember that at this point, electricity was not a thing. So all those trams would have been. Your
So people were pushing that.
Fucking. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, they probably brought it in with a horse, but
Yep.
Well, to be fair,
But
I don't
where's the
think-
horse?
I
And
don't
more
think it's
importantly,
that,
where's
but
the horse
one of
poo?
those-
when
I
was
was gonna
that?
say, those tracks actually look too wide. The horse-drawn carriages
is-
the horse-drawn are usually a bit
hey,
narrower.
what was the date of this exhibition? I forget.
Nine-
1870,
1877.
95,
18
65,
1876.
76.
They did have steam engines back then.
1876 if it's the Philadelphia one.
Yeah, it is. A guy just said my potty mouth is just a bonus.
Wow, man, is that?
That's great.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Look
Mr.
at
Rand.
the foundations in there going down that are all masonry, and it looks like they're just flooring over the top of it.
Yeah.
See all the
Yeah, exactly,
arches on the
right,
side?
That's
right,
really
right.
strange.
How many photos of the inside of this building? And in all of them, this little ring thing in the middle is at least half constructed. Like, you can see a piece missing on the far side, see where they've not built it that side, but at the same time, you could say that's like a missing segment. Like,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And
Yeah,
it's always
I don't know.
the same. Finished
And-
buildings. The
Right.
most you
What-
see is a re-roofing. You don't ever see these walls going up.
What do you guys think
Yeah,
about
there's
the
a couple of
idea?
towers.
The
pictures.
metal, putting up all that metal is
Oh,
the
what-
biggest job
what-
because
Nice,
you
Sam.
need your
I
cranes.
missed that. What was the question?
Oh, it's okay. I was just gonna say, what do you guys think about the idea that
What'd you say,
the government uses technology behind the scenes for a long time before they release it to the public? What do you guys think about that?
This whole AI,
well,
whole
I-
AI thing, man.
Well,
I think
that theory
It's
isn't
got to be
even
part of the
just a theory.
unveiling,
Like,
right?
right, it's common knowledge today. It is pretty common knowledge that the military were the reason for the invention of things like radar and even fucking trucks. Right,
The
like
internet.
the oil truck was supposed to be invented so they could get shit delivered to troops faster. The Land Rover. They didn't give a fuck about people driving across shit. They care about the military stuff. Now, this is why I actually focus so much on photo technology in my old World's Fair stuff, because you'll find that a lot of the time the people that take these photos were employed directly by the government, and they were selected as the only photographers in a lot of cases, right? So
Yes.
what you've got to
Yeah.
remember is a few years ago, we had Donald Trump post a picture of an Iranian missile site, and the world went mental because they were like, you can't let them know how good our photos are, right? And that is exactly the point, because if you go back to World War I, you can even find jokes in Blackadder about how they would send a fucking painter over the trenches to paint the front lines of the enemy. That's how important photography is to your military strategy, to know where people are. So if photos are able to do that, then the military had that capability way before we did, right?
Yeah,
because they
before
needed
us.
to.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with
because
that.
they need the people that are taking these photos now are using the same technology that 50 years before spies were using on the enemy. Okay, so 50 years before, spies
Yeah.
would have been taking the same cameras into enemy areas, dressed in ghillie suits and trying to take photos of their areas.
Kristen Gillies.
Do you entertain the
Oh,
idea
no.
that they were able to capture photos long before, though, like using different methods? Because
No,
some
it's
people,
like I don't.
Yeah.
As in, I couldn't right now provide
sure.
you evidence to say that they could, but as in the evidence that I point
We
to,
have the photo
the fact-
obscura.
Well, all I'd point to is the fact that photo technology is evidently something that could be included in military technology. So you just have to use your brain on that one and say, how important would photos be to an army before photos were a thing? That's your first satellite technology. Where's the enemy base? Here's a picture. This is exactly where the fucking camps are and everything. Like that.
It's like Google Earth. Like, do we really think that's all they can see is what we get access to? I mean, there's no way, right?
At this point,
very
at this point in time, we all believe that the photographers were random dudes that just had a good camera, and the government went, "You're good at this. Take some photos." Bollocks.
The camera obscura was around in the 16th century, so I guess the way you could think about it,
16th, yeah, exactly,
is that they could have easily used some sort of solution to capture that image.
But the point is if you were to
if
you were having someone to take photos of your event, and you know that modern day technology is only at this level, but your hidden technology is way better, you could give them a better camera. So at the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition, there was 2 guys, part of one company, that were given the sole rights to take photos of everything there. No one else, just them. And that's the album that I've sent you. That is the only photographers that are allowed to
they did that with all the World's Fairs. I mean, that was standard operating procedure.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to say, though, is that they are so secretive that they could give you a camera and say, this is the camera you're taking your photos with, right? You know how to take pictures.
And then they'd also go through them, and they'd choose the ones that get released as well. So
exactly, yeah. No,
I actually did a video on this. I actually found an article and a video on this and shared it. I forget when and where, but they had photographers that it was their job to take the official photos. Nobody else could take photos unless they were given special permission, and they paid a fee, and the fee was like $3,000 just to take photos. And then they had to be approved. And if you took a photo without having, paying this fee, then you got fined a very large amount.
It reminds me of that Lake Mead situation today. Have you heard about that?
No.
Where you're no longer allowed to take photos.
You're not allowed to take photos
unless you get a permit. You have to get a permit now and pay a fee in order to
really
do it, I guess.
But right, yeah. So this is right.
Because there was a channel that was showing it going down and all the boats being exposed.
Right.
Well, what is down there that they don't want you to see? I don't know.
What I'm trying to say about these events, right?
Well, exactly. A lot.
Right.
Yeah.
These events, they're not going to have the photos, are they, of full quality, because it's doing exactly the same that we've just said about Donald Trump, right? If you are the American, you don't want the Russians or the Chinese or the Germans or whatever, you don't want them to know that this is your photo taking capability, because they'll be on the watch out for it. Because think how important this is. Right? If you could just go into the enemy's base and take a photo of their whole
same side.
Right, so this is why it's controlled, because think, right, if what's available to the public, what was available to government, and it's probably
to them.
But I mean, of what we think.
Even look at the quality of these photos. This is 1876, and look at the quality of them and the definition. Like most of the photos you get from the 1900s aren't half as good as this.
Right, and find photos from normal photographers from the same period, nowhere near the quality, because these guys have been given a camera from the government that is better. They've said, this is the camera you use, go take the photos, right? And that's why it's so weird. Like one of the dudes actually from Philadelphia died like soon after, which is something you do see quite a bit. I don't want to go too much into that, but point is that 2 dudes are given something by the government and said, you're the only ones that can take these photos. So just think about it. If these were the best public cameras, what was the cameras that the government had for their spies, right? Because like you say, radio was invented for the military.
Can you zoom in on some of these people, Biggs?
Somewhat. It's kind of strange how it's zooming in. It's not doing real good.
That's the main building.
I've noticed that some of these people look like those AI generated people sometimes.
I have noticed the same thing.
Well, this is the thing.
The main building.
The whole AI is we don't know, because the thing is
all the outside
photography is that old and better than so is so is Photoshop and photo manipulation, right?
I don't
You know,
necessarily
and
think
AI,
that the
really.
people
I mean,
were
that
added
almost
with
looks like it's boring,
AI.
that
I
one.
think that actually what they were done is they were just photo manipulated and pasted onto the negative, and then they reshot the picture, and
So,
then they have a negative that actually has people in the pictures. I don't think they actually used AI to do that.
I mean, look at
Yeah,
that shot.
what's
Why
right,
is
what's
there a
happened with
building
the,
there, but there's
with the
no solid road to get stuff in?
right? Oh yeah, but I
It's
was gonna
just
say
dirt.
with the people in the pictures, this is where it gets confused, right? Because obviously people did have to stand there for like it's between 3 minutes and 15 minutes. So don't believe everything you hear about it
Yeah,
have to be
pretty
15. There
close.
were quick ones, right? But what would happen is most people would want to stand there for the photo. So they would actually stand and take the photo. But if it was a really long one, then obviously people keep moving, and that's when you end up with these blurs. So what they try and do is get a photo of a big crowd and at the event, and then a photo of the building itself without the crowd, and then they just try and merge the photos together, like just to make the best of both.
Well, now in the old films, I've
Yeah, so this
run
is
across. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you go. No, you go first.
I
I've got a
ran
big
across
question.
information that showed that the way that they took the old films, where we see the films around the early 1900s, is that they would put out flyers that told the people to be at a certain place at a certain time and that they were going to film them.
Yeah,
And if they
Yep.
were in the film, then they would
Yep.
show the film in their city later that week. So people would show up because they wanted to see themselves on the silver screen.
I get that, but how did they get the streets empty? Because in those days, I can't
That's
like
a
it's
different
not
story.
the streets
days. You've got
were
like
empty because
there's
the
something
streets
these
were
days.
empty.
You've got you've got
There was no
like
population.
we're filming a TV show. You can't come down here. That the law says. Whereas in those days, oh, we're taking a picture. Can you please not come down? Like, fuck off. I'm gonna get
No,
potatoes. Fuck off. Like,
yeah, that wouldn't work. There was
Yeah,
something
but
else
that's the
going
thing.
on.
It's more like the streets were empty, and to get a crowd, they had to put out flyers, and that's the only way to get a crowd because they had these cities for 1 million people, but only 10,000 people living there.
Let's say that these were cities that used to be inhabited and had been, either pushed on or whatever, moved on, whatever, right? And now these cities are having their kind of high school prom photographs. We were here, choo choo choo, come on in, right? And I feel like that might be what it is because, like I said, I'm reading a book at the moment. I've got too far into it. It's called The Muscovites in California, which talks about the Russians in California. And obviously, if anyone thinks that sounds crazy, just remember you bought Alaska from the Russians. How do you think they got there? Do you think they just stayed there? Do you think they got to Alaska and went, oh, this is nice?
I got a question, guys. Why are those boards moving?
Yeah, that's weird.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, shit. Yeah.
What's going on there? And some of those boards underneath, like the top boards, look like they're underneath the cross beams. See how the line goes across the top of them?
Maybe the people were
Am I
just
looking
working
at
really
that
fast.
wrong? They look like ghost.
I was gonna say it's
wood.
weird that there's not like people picking them up and moving them.
It kind of looks like there's one shadow in the middle there. I can't tell for sure though.
Although, one thing I would say to you is don't focus too much on that stuff.
Oh, is that light? Is that shadow I'm looking at?
Have you guys?
Is that, no,
someone sent me this book from the Paris Exposition of 1900, and it says
maybe it was light.
Like what I would say that is in between the 10 minutes of the photo taking, some people have come in and dropped those planks.
No, look. See right there. One of those planks is sitting on top of those cross beams, and the one next to it, is it either moving because you can see the cross beams through the board.
Yeah, because they've moved it.
But the one by itself is on top. So
I know. So when they've taken
how they're moving,
So when they've taken the first shot,
that doesn't make sense.
The next one,
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. And this board's clear as day, sitting still.
Like the only weird thing I'd say about it is that you can't see people. But zoom in actually on these boards, it looks like somebody's kind of tried to scratch them out on the left. Just when this loads.
Hold on.
So good.
Oh, is it loading?
Oh fuck it. Who knows?
Oh,
I done killed it.
It's dead. But yeah, no.
Double
That's what I
exposure.
mean.
I killed it.
Sorry.
All
Exposure.
I mean by this is try
I
not
killed
to focus too much on stuff that
shadows
you shouldn't do. What you'll find is that somebody in the comments will come back to you with some knowledge about cameras and make you look like an idiot.
Well,
So
I forget what
someone
year
said
it was,
double
but
exposure.
they did have a camera back
I'm
then
gonna
that
just
you could
teach you a
shoot like
trick,
8
right?
frames per second or something. That was a handheld
Okay,
camera.
now
I can't
this
remember
little
what year it
person
was.
right
No,
here,
guys,
this looks like it's
Watch
painted to
this.
me.
This is how you become invulnerable. You go, wow, that looks really weird. That looks like it could be this. What do you guys think? Right?
These guys look like they could be there,
Yeah.
but this kid right here looks like he's painted. To me, that's an opinion. I mean,
Can I share my screen very quickly? There's someone that sent me a book from the 1900 Paris Exposition, and on the cover of it says illustrated, but it appears like they're the same kind of photos that you're seeing here.
Yeah, this is another thing that I think didn't we talk about it, Biggs? Where, like, so what they would do is when they took photos, for example, of something that usually has flags on it, right? And the flags would become blurred and disappear and shit. They'd get somebody to draw the flags on to make the whole picture work. Now, it isn't something nefarious. It isn't like someone was drawing the flags on going like, right? It's just that they thought it would look better than the blurred image. So that's one thing I think you have to distinguish for people watching, because if they see you clicking on stuff like that and saying, "Oh, this looks weird," they'll think you're trying to make like a conspiracy out of everything.
oh no, I've been very clear that I don't know why they're doing these things, but my point is that they are and they can. That's my only point.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
That's definitely the way you approach it. Like, is that?
But that's more than I knew, a couple years ago. So.
No, that's what I mean, because, like, for example, with the flags, right? I sit here and say, "Oh, it's nefarious that they're coloring in the flags. It's nefarious they're doing shit to the flags." Whereas the truth might be that they're just adding it in to make the picture look better, right? And if you tell the truth about
exactly. People
absolutely.
See, what's interesting though is that they're calling this an illustration. They're calling this an illustration in this book.
Oh wait, I think I know that one. Is it got water around it or not?
Says
this
is the Paris Exposition of 1900 illustrated.
Dude, this is after the Eiffel Tower.
Illustrated, yeah. And Luke and also Zertis have both talked to David Ewing Jr., and he's saying, if I get it correct, he's saying that all the photos from the Pan Pacific Expo are fake, or was it the St. Louis? And he talked about them being drawn.
Well, in fact, Chicago is a tabletop model.
Sorry, these aren't rotated.
It's taken like a green screen, and they've taken photos.
Like a diorama. Is that what they're called? Diorama.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know stuff because, like, I mean, maybe it's biased that, like, I'd rather not be that, but I don't know.
Well, what they would do is they would take
the thing is about that is if it's one, it would have to be all of them.
Well, no, not necessarily.
But if they were faking one,
let me give an example. Paris Exposition Universelle, they were quite different because they did all their expositions on it around the same spot. They just expanded. So, like, the first one was in, I think, 1967 or 63 or something like that. But they stayed on the same spot.
The French?
Yeah, sorry, 1867. Yeah. So they expanded the spot, right?
Yeah.
What was it? It was 1855. And then 1867, I think.
Yeah,
but,
they had one 1872, and they did have one 1860 as well. Yeah, they had quite a few.
Yeah, you see this right here, Biggs in the front. Look at this lady's face.
What they do is they take a picture of the building, and then they paint over onto the glass plate negative. They paint the people in. I've seen this before.
Oh,
this is strange because this is actually a legit book.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. With glass plates, they can literally paint onto the negative,
Right.
I'll tell you what, right? Hey, I don't.
And then we've all seen colorized photos and colorized film.
I don't know if the potato will handle it, but could you give my laptop the control of the screen?
Yeah, if anyone wants this, message me on Instagram at Tartarian Truth, and I'll share this with you.
Would you be able to give my laptop the control of the screen?
You know
with
what's
your
hard for me
laptop.
is I've seen
Yeah, the
so
one that's in
many
the back room.
World Fair photos now that they all blend together, and it's very confusing. When you really study this stuff, it's
Right.
very difficult to determine
The
what you're
present.
looking at, which fair is which at some point.
This one?
Yeah, that's 1 sec. Let me see if I can get this. So if this works, then we're good. Yeah, come on, share
Oh,
screen.
you look like Captain Autodidactic, Luke. You've got my logo right on your head.
Oh, that's cute. Right.
And of
Hey,
course, if you haven't subscribed to Stuffed Beagle, go across and check out Stuffed Beagle and Tartarian Truth. Links are not in the description because I had no
Don't subscribe to
idea
me.
that they were coming.
because we crashed.
But here they are. They gate crashed,
it says,
man.
it says it's streaming.
Live
but
stream bombing.
is it streaming or is it not? It says it's fucking. It is, but
What are you doing, Lukey?
I'm trying to show you my screen, but it's saying it is, but it's not on my fucking phone coming up. There's nothing going.
Come on, Jimmy.
We're trying to run an
Can you not
informative
see-
live stream here. People do
Can
not
you
want
not
to see
see
a picture of a black screen, Luke.
Oh, for fuck. Right,
So-
just take it away from me then. It's
So while he's doing this, do you guys wanted to maybe talk about? How do you think the World's Fairs relate to Tartaria at all? If you do,
I have a theory, but Cam, what's your theory? Yours is probably going to be more interesting.
I mean, I'm still of the opinion that most of these buildings were there. They were found. All the photos we see seem to be re-roofing and facading and building inside buildings. So I think, and they're all flooded. You know, a lot of them too at construction points. So I think a lot of work went on, but you know they can't explain building the canals. The main thing for me is the plumbing system. With all these fountains we see everywhere, that's a very, very complex system that they put in, and you can't. There's nothing. They don't want to mention it.
Right, yeah,
You know, people just want to talk about how they built this building or this building, but when you look at it as a whole, like we had three. Well, no, not three. We had 5 World Expos in Australia, and one of them was in the middle of the desert. Like it doesn't make sense. And then the other thing is these are all supposed to promote, you know, trade like for these new countries, but they're all covered in Phoenician logos. They're not like the American fairs aren't covered in Americana. The French ones aren't covered in, you know, France stuff. It just looks like it's a leftover from a previous culture.
I have a theory. I have no proof for it, but this is kind of the theory I'm going with right now. They call it the World's Fair, okay? And I think they called it the World's Fair because it actually was a World's Fair. All of these sites were one fair. They were just worldwide. They were all going to happen at one time. They were all in the middle of construction whenever whatever happened. And then we came in, we found these buildings, these structures, these World Fair sites. And then as we got them going, we had a World's Fair at that site, had them at different times, and then we destroyed them. So that's my going theory right now. I have no proof.
You know what? That actually fits with a theory that I'd heard from. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a guy called Matthias. He appears on. What was it? He's like I think he's Mexican or something, and he believes that he's like remembers past lives from Atlantis, and he appears on a guy's stream called Albury something. Is Albury Marcus? Is it? He's kind of like a Joe Rogan type stream, and he talks to a lot of people like that. So there's a guy on that called Matthias who believes that he receives past lives from a life in Atlantis, and he talks about the end of Atlantis being a celebration where it came together and had all these like on the day of death they were all having this one giant celebration of life, and I feel like it kind of fit the World's Fairs of like this. Like for example, the pyramids there, just going off this basis, imagine if you wanted to reincarnate to a certain star system, you would go to that pyramid for your ascension because it would be pointed that way. And I thought like this kind of matches with everything going on. If everyone knew that we were, dying and it was a celebration, you'd go to the World's Fair that was like for you, for where you want to go. Like,
well, my theory is if you have all of these sites around the world and you have one fair, and different sites, it would allow everybody from around the world to participate in this World's Fair. Even though it was at your location, you still participated in the World's Fair.
Well,
You
I mean,
got to go.
it's similar to
If
that,
it
but
was
like
one
right,
location in the world, it's a lot harder for people from around the world to go to one location.
maybe it's that, right? So imagine, you know, the
That's
reset.
So,
Imagine if you knew the reset was coming, right? And it wasn't like a bad thing. It was like, oh, when the reset happens, we all die and we all go our separate ways. So that's why they build the pyramids. This one's aiming that way. So it's basically like a, you know, imagine a world where we all kind of knew our past lives and shit.
one
You know,
last hurrah, man, before the
yeah, like I
cosmic
want to go to
apocalypse.
Syria, so I'm gonna go to you know, to fucking Texas, where the pyramid is gonna be lined up to Sirius on the day of death. Maybe it's something like that.
like the Mayans. They have a part of their cyclical history says that every now and then everything goes to shit and everything blows
Yeah.
up and everything gets flooded, whatever, something happens, everybody whatever, and they, it's part of their history, and they just say, okay, well, every so many years we're fucked.
Well, yeah, this is the point. What if it isn't just a
And then we
okay?
start over.
What if it's a celebration of life? Like,
A
more than
wise
just
man
a,
once
we're
said,
fucked.
every so often we are fucked.
Maybe
So
like
the,
that's the point.
the celebration of life, are you saying they die at
They-
the end of it, or what are you saying with the whole death thing?
But this is the point. They don't see it in that way. They don't see it as like, oh, every now and then we
They
get
see it
fucked.
as
They
ascension.
see it.
I don't think
Well,
it's like the individual dies. I think the
Well, like I said, a
civilization
world's
dies. It
fair.
it gets to a cyclical end,
Well, we're not.
and then it has to collapse
Right.
because it's gotten so
Right. Okay.
extravagant. And then
hypothetically, let's say we were all going to die and we knew it. There was nothing we could do about it. And all that matters is like what happens when we die, kind of like a don't look up thing, right? What if these people came to the conclusion that like the way you die is important, or like if you're happy when you die, etc., it has something to do with it? What if
Oh, okay.
Well, they
like
were very aware of
Nice.
death. They knew how to die. They knew that death was
the
just part
world's
of the
fair
cycle.
might be like a giant.
Yeah, so the
we're-
fairs was to
we're-
raise the vibration, kind of get everyone
Yeah,
happy
and you
in the last
have
big celebration.
Wars,
So they're in the right state when the end
Collection of
came.
look what we
Yeah.
did in this
like a
era,
teleport
in
of
this
fucking-
civilization, in this, you know, time, in this cycle. Look what we did. Let's celebrate, you know, our world
Exactly,
as
right?
our
Which
one
is
world.
why our
Let's
society
celebrate as one.
making us scared.
We're fucked.
If you consider that the buildings were already there and that they were permanent buildings, I guess the thing I would lean towards.
I'm not saying they're permanent. I'm saying that
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating at this point. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, if we were to take that into account or entertain that idea, I would think that it was more likely
like
inherited, like people are saying,
is
like the
it?
people who currently control the economy of the entire world were more than likely the ones who inherited these buildings from whatever civilization was defeated or ended for whatever reason at that point in time.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's like what I'm saying is it's about the fear. So like we all fear the end. We don't know what the end is, but we fear it. It might be this, it might be that, it might be, you know, them taking over. We are in fear, whereas the World's Fair people that saw the end coming were the opposite. They knew what's coming and they loved it and it was fine. Whereas if like that hypothesis that something feeds off us, like, you know, you've all heard that theory that there is something demonic or whatever that feeds off us. Yeah, well then this is the ultimate feed, isn't it? Like we don't like they always say, you know, the enemy you know is better than the enemy.
The only problem I see with that, if they knew it was coming and they were going to have this World's Fair and they were going to celebrate this coming ending time, my problem with that would be that these fairs, I don't think were complete. So it happened early or it hit them unawares.
Okay, during construction.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
Yeah,
you could
maybe.
you could put that in that they don't know ish when, but at the same time, like you've got to imagine that there was some kind of accompanying event. So, like, you know, there was some destructive force that might have destroyed these sites and flood, like mud flooded these sites and damaged these sites, and at the same time, there might have been remainers, as in
that's
Romans.
a good point. I want to make a note of that. Is that one thing we have noticed about the World's Fair sites is most, if not all, are not mud flooded. Now that goes to a theory that I have, that these mud floods were targeted events. If they were targeted events, why would you target a World's Fair site that was not ready? You wouldn't construct.
Biggs.
You wouldn't
I don't
target
know
a construction site. You would
I
target
don't
a
know if I
city.
agree with that about the mud
Okay.
flood. I've only done a few World's Fairs, but they've all had evidence of mud flood.
Evidence, but they're not mud flooded.
No, but
I'm saying.
what I
They're
think
not hugely. There might be some remnants of, like, let's say Chicago gets mud flooded. Well, Chicago's fair was very close to Chicago. It's very possible the mud could have got into that site, no problem. I'm talking about the targeting on most of these sites would not have been flooded.
Right. Okay. Well, what the problem is it's like Star Force. So with Star Force, we talk about what's on top as opposed to what's below. So
What is below?
Well, this is the point. So if you look at a World's Fair event, how do you know you're not just looking at the tip of a giant structure system that they have, you know, I mean, this has survived and they've just turned this tip into a section that is something to be used. And it's a very hard thing to discern.
From a construction, I am in construction. That is how I make my bread and butter. And from a construction standpoint, when looking at the framing of these buildings, I do not feel that is actually what's going on. It looks like they are framed on the ground, that they have a very small foundation.
Well, one thing I would notice is that all these places have
covered
flat grounds. But, well, it's okay. Let's take Chicago, for example, then. So Chicago, they have that one giant stone building, which is clearly made of stone. And then the rest is supposed to be plaster. But the biggest one, the Hall of Agricultural and Industry, was apparently, as we talked the other day, would have been the second largest building in the world behind the Boeing factory, if it was still standing.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Right?
Yeah.
So just bear in mind, from a construction point of view, someone comes and says, we're going to build, at the time, the biggest building in the world, and it's going to be made out of iron, but then covered in plaster, and we're going to destroy it in a year. What do you say to that?
I mean, who's to say that some of these buildings that are masonry construction, that these buildings were not there prior to these World Fair events, and they said, okay, let's have a World's Fair and let's have it on this site. Oh yeah, by the way, that site has this beautiful building and that beautiful building. We can incorporate those buildings into the World's Fair. Everything else is framed construction.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm just throwing shit out.
No, I agree. I said,
it seems more likely than the idea of building it out of plaster. But then again, there are examples of things being built out of plaster today that we have that.
Well,
absolutely.
One thing
I think it was both. There was a combination. I see like masonry. I see very highly elaborately framed buildings, and I see shittily framed buildings, shit that we build today. But some of that stuff is not the same. One is not like the other. And you can tell the difference. There's a big difference between a very simple wood framed construction and some of these very large timber framed constructions. They're incredible. They're very difficult to build, especially in a time when you don't have, the technology that we have today, the cranes and the electric saws and the electric drills.
Well, that's the thing where I think that one thing that could lead to more answers with some of these theories is if we look into the laws and the economy, because, for example, I don't know much about Australia or the UK, but in America, at the end of the 19th century going into the 20th century, there were so many things taking place behind the scenes with the people who currently own and control a majority of our economy, to where a lot of the technology has been covered up and a lot of these deals have been covered up. And I guess if you look into that more, you would be able to find more of a reason for what happened, is where I'm trying to go with this.
Well, my background, for a long time, I was in the audio video production business. Okay. And there are technologies that I saw
is pre
2008 that are still not on the market today, because they would bring things to us for the industry and show it to us, trying to get us to use it. And I've still not seen some of the things on the market that
right. All you have to do for that is look at green energy. Like, how many people will tell you that they had some kind of green energy car filter something, and it gets bought by Honda and then disappears into the fucking system because they don't care about that stuff. And it's, you know, in a weird way, I feel like these World's Fairs did that exact same thing, because when they hosted these events, they sent out letters to everyone in the city saying, if you've got anything that you want to be on display, let us know, send it in to us and we'll evaluate it. So for example, with artists
we were talking about this the other day about how even the smaller cities had exhibitions and they're not even being shown. Most people don't even know about them.
So hear me out. If you've just moved all your people into a new city, right, and you know there's going to be loads of stuff hidden out there, maybe in houses and stuff that you can't really get to, and you need them to come forward and give it to you, right? You have an event, okay, and the best stuff gets a big medal. Now, this is how important it was to these people, that if you were an artist and you sent your art to one of these events, they would either sign it and say yes, you're in, or they would tick it and say no, you're not. Artists that got a no to these events would struggle to sell their artwork. But that's how important these events were. No, you weren't accepted into the exposition. I won't buy your shit. So somebody having artwork accepted was a tick, meant that all your artwork is now worth more, right? So that's how important it was. These people cared about this. They got proper medals, you know, right? So if you bring to them something you found in your house, look at this, look, it's amazing. And they go, oh, that's brilliant. Bring it down. Here's your medal. That's ours now. Right. And that's how it is. Right. And the photographers are their photographers, so they can take the photos or get rid of that. So they literally had everyone in the country or in the city being like a little gold digger for them. And anything they find, they'll come back running. Oh, is this worth anything? I found it. It's a camera looking thing. Is this worth anything? And they go, oh yeah, of course it is. Come on, we'll stamp that, put it in the exhibition. Thank you very much. And that person gets a medal. They're happy with themselves, and that technology now disappears.
I'm fascinated by the photographic technology where the old pictures, the glass plate negatives, are better than some of the digital technology we have today, in my opinion.
Oh,
they have a richness to them.
Fucking air in a balloon.
It's amazing.
Like
it's almost like we devolved our technology of photography until just recently.
Go back to the air view of Crystal Palace. That's a balloon photo. So if the balloon has a camera in it. If you go right back to the Crystal Palace, but that's the point. So when you consider stabilization and shutter speed, they had a fucking balloon cameras then, right? It's
that little swampy area in front.
There you go. Yeah. Look at those. If you forward again, you missed them. But they've got air views of these Crystal Palaces. Now this is the second Crystal Palace. This is the one that apparently got moved, which is a completely different building from the first one.
Yeah.
And this one, you won't believe it.
I got a question. How did it burn?
Oh, well, yeah, what happened was the guy that loved it, owned it, kind of. He was
flammable glass, man.
And he saw, right, I'm not kidding, the guy that loved it, he was curator, he saw a fire burning and he ran in and found two servants trying to battle the fire, just throwing water on it. And he went, oh, no, you morons, you can't do that. And then the fire just grew and grew and grew. And I'm not kidding, Winston Churchill came out from London to watch it burn. That's like celebrities came out from London to watch.
Winston Churchill started it, man.
Oh, well,
it was Winston Churchill's cigar that started it.
I've got two books here about Churchill called Churchill's War that would change every opinion you've ever had on Churchill.
I've gotten so that when I start looking for anomalies in a city and things don't start adding up and buildings go missing, I just go Great Fire, whatever city. Like, look for the Great Fire.
Oh, yeah.
There's something going on.
Look at that picture, though, right?
Yeah, that's number 2.
Is that I could literally show that to someone and say that's an airport, and they'd probably believe me. That looks like an airport.
Wait, what year does that say it was? Because that was taken in a fucking balloon.
So this is the second one, which burnt down in when the 40s or 50s or something. So I don't know what 30s was it. So probably 20s or 10s, 1920s or 10s.
Yeah. What I mean is that's
they said Winston Churchill saw it. Remember?
A balloon.
And what's his name in Rome, where he watched Rome burn supposedly? I mean, it's not true, but the whole story of that. They use the same. They regurgitate the same stories too.
Yeah, literally.
Well,
for maintenance, but
no, not Caesar. Who was the fat oyster eater? Who watched Rome burn. Same
I'm not
story.
sure.
Playing
Who's
the lair.
well, in fact, hey, how weird's this?
What?
If you want to see, if you want to see how history gets repeated, I've just been doing Tamerlane's history, and he has loads of fights with the Geats that come from the east. If you go to England, right? Yeah, the Welsh, right? The Welsh, they had loads of fights with the Jutes that came from the east. And guess what? The Ungles, as in like Mongols, Ungles, right? They were like the like Gog and Magog. You have a Mongol and Ungle. The Ungles, if you take the un and turn it to an Engels, as in Angles, Ungles, and they pronounce it Ungles. So in the east of England during the early days, we've actually got Ungles and Jutes, which is close to, Ungles and Jutes. It raises a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Hey, Cam, any of these pictures that look like they're painted, sometimes you can do a reverse Google search and reverse image search, and you can find the actual picture they used for the picture that you're looking at. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does.
I need
Tell
to.
you what,
Cool.
of your best videos is the one where you had the Hitler pictures up and you showed how he had like that guy next to him that had been wiped out. Do you remember?
Yeah, that was
Did you ever find out who that guy was?
Video.
That's a cool building.
No.
Did you find out who he was?
No.
You want to know who
Yeah,
that
this
guy was.
is a glass house. This is like a hot house. This was built by what's his name? I've forgotten. But the guy who designed the Crystal Palace, who was a gardener, and he decided to design a hot house, a glass house, and this was it. This was like the first glass house. I mean, look at this thing. They tried to knock this over, and it took them months to knock it over because it was built so well.
Somebody on Reddit sent me a link.
This is where.
Sorry, go on. So
I was just going to say, this is also he was growing Cavendish banana. Oh, that's his name, Cavendish. Is that his name? No, he worked for Cavendish. But yeah, Cavendish bananas and pineapples and stuff. He was growing in here.
Right. So,
anyway,
what I was going to say, someone on Reddit sent, after I uploaded my video about the Crystal Palaces, they sent me a link to, I can't remember the city. I think it was Chicago, but I might be wrong. It was a city in America that has an exact replica of the Crystal Palace built at the same time. And there's like no records of it. And you go around.
You were telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Crystal Palaces everywhere. And it's almost as if, like, like say Cavendish, he built his first one. Just fucking.
There were.
Just whispered into the air about how to do it. Fucking no.
Well, glass was a very secret art at the time. It was very a highly guarded secret how you made glass. You didn't just make it. It's not something that everybody made, and the people that did make it guarded the secret of making it very closely.
Well, if you want to see something fucked up, right, you'll know about the building in Naples, the gallery, the one that has supposedly had the D added on or the M added on, that said 890 and now it says 1890. You'll know the one I mean. It's from Gallery Umberto or something in Naples. It's a very well-known image in the truth community because it looks like somebody's added 1,000 years onto the top, right? Well, if you go to that page, you can find the architect of that whole building, and he doesn't even have a wiki page. He's not that important, but he's apparently built another one, and it's so nuts that these people that are so important, they're the only guys that know how to do this, and yet they don't even have a wiki page. I know that isn't.
One of my favorites is when they say we're going to build a building and we're going to hold a competition, and the architects are all going to send in their
12-year-old
the building. That one just kills me.
Palace.
Oh, and another one is
and they always design the same types of buildings, right?
We gave him the contract to design the building, but it was his first design. He'd never designed a building before.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's the same thing with this guy, right? The guy that did the Umberto Gallery, right? It's an abusive gallery. It's been a phrase. It's monument. The guy has a wiki page, but nothing about him. Oh, he just turned up one day and was like, would you like me to build you a building?
Yeah. It's like
that's how glass burns.
Because when you start looking at this
so fake.
over and over and over again. It's a
Look
horseshit
at that tower.
narrative every time you look at a building. And it's
Get
like,
this-
when
yeah,
does it end?
exactly.
At some point, if it was real, it would make sense. But every time you find the same horseshit narrative, it just depends on
that
how
fire
deep you
doesn't look.
look.
Go back.
If you
go
just
back.
look a little bit deeper,
Yeah.
you're gonna find something
Yeah,
wrong.
go back onto the like, image
Every
before.
time.
I'll show you something on the top tower.
So
It's fun. Yeah, look
the
at
way
this
that tower's
tower.
coming through, that tower's going through the top. That's bollocks. That should not be happening. No way in hell should that be coming through. The density of the smoke should be
That's
like.
I mean, that's a drawing, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
That looks like
yeah,
a kindergarten. Someone's
That's
kindergarten kid stuck their tower into a photo.
looks like a
something's wrong with that.
dolly
Right.
from the 1950s.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
someone that's
not right.
quite good at Photoshop, and I do these images, and I notice when somebody's fucked with lighting, and that is look at the fucking clean cut on the building. Like if you go up to the left, it looks like someone's genuine. Look, clean cut there in the middle.
Well,
Higher.
Yeah, exactly. You can almost see this line here and how
Look at that. Look at
crisp
that
it
guy's
is out
Yeah.
the front, and then
Go-
just
go
They
there.
really
it's
like
like,
to
Well,
hide
I mean,
things
shit.
in
building the
on
top bit of the
straight
building.
lines.
Look,
So
yeah,
that's a
look
good
at the top
place to
bit.
look.
Oh, look at the top bit. Look at the way that how straight that is. At the top, right at the top with the big bit.
that phone
Look at-
pole in the middle is very sus.
That bit there. Look how straight
It
those
is.
are. It's like it's been cut in. Look, it's over. In fact, the clouds are in the building. Look, the clouds are actually going into the building. If you scroll up now, you'll see the clouds going into that building. Look.
Oh, up
Now,
here,
if you
sort
were
of.
gonna
Yeah,
research
right.
this
Look at the bottom.
image,
Yeah, clouds going in.
the best way to research this
Yeah.
image would be to reverse Google image search this image and see if you could find a very high resolution of this image or the original glass plate negative, and then you would really start
Try
seeing
it.
something.
Let's see, because yeah, that's looking like an aerodynamic penguin right there to me. If you catch my drift.
Aerodynamic thing,
I mean, it's
but
But
that's just, we just don't know, do we? We just
No.
don't know what's real and what's not, and you know.
well, Beagle, when you do
350 of you
construction work,
watching. Thank you all for being here.
250
Sorry.
ancient.
shout out to the
stories.
chat. When you
What
do
was it?
construction, does it require a permit every single time you're like doing a survey of any area that you work on?
it depends on what you're doing.
Cam, shout me out.
Because over time,
I do more personal handyman kind of stuff.
Oh,
But I do large projects for, like, right now I'm working on some very large stuff for a private citizen. So it just depends on what you're doing.
have you heard of the Invention Secrecy Act before?
Say it again.
The Invention Secrecy Act.
Invention Secrecy Act. I don't think so.
It's something in the United States, which basically would be a good place to start looking into when it comes to this free energy thing, because the Invention Secrecy Act pretty much says that
if you invent something, it's secret.
exactly. No. So say for example, you were to create a car today that ran off of water. If you either have to get a patent, you either have to get a patent for that, or someone is going to steal your idea and get a patent for that. Okay.
Right.
When you get that a patent, the Invention Secrecy Act says that they can classify your invention as top secret because it's a national security risk.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have heard
It's-
that before. Yeah, I didn't know that's what's called.
That's why people go on YouTube like, oh my god, I've just found out how to turn my car into an engine that turns.
But that's not where it starts though. They have other laws they come up with, like the laws in the 90s where you can't look into the mounds anymore in America. So I guess what I'm trying to say with all of this is if each person in their different area would go around and start locating these laws and when they came into effect, we might be able to start figuring out when this exactly started happening.
I mean, you know, I don't want to sound like a super nutcase conspiracy theorist, but I mean, probably too late. This is why they even draw us into cities, okay? They make life so shit outside of cities that you come into the city where everything's controlled, and then outside of the city, they can go do what they want. You know, if they find a nice mound,
Sherry.
build on that. You know?
Well, it's like it might be a felony to do the mounds in America. I'm not sure. Let me look into that real quick.
Well, in Wales, for example, right?
Are we talking about you talking about the Indian mounds?
Yeah, the Indian mounds.
Right, I'll show you. In Wales, there are star mounds, a map of the stars, right? So just bear in mind how amazing this is, that at some point in history, over Wales, they built giant hills to correspond to the stars perfectly. And there's a map across Wales of every fucking star, pretty much, that you can see in the sky, and it matches up. So, for example, under the lion, which is obviously like the Lion of Judah, they think that the Ark of the Covenant is buried under Unisabul, right? But the point is whether the Ark's there or not, the mounds are there, and they correspond to actual stars. They are perfectly fit. Now, England has gone around building over these. We've got car parks built on them. We've got roundabouts, houses, etc. They don't care.
God, yeah. Every time people talk about the damn Ark, I start thinking about the Temple Mount research.
Well,
that's like one of my favorite topics.
Well,
but
look, if you go onto my channel, a guy called Alan Wilson that you will love. He's an older gentleman now, but he talks about the Ark, and he has such a good case for it being in England and all the Welsh connections. So you should go check that out. But the point is even if it isn't there, there are mounds, man-made mounds. I'm talking giant things with chambers in them all over Wales that match up to actual stars. That's amazing on its own that people did this, but they don't talk about it. Like, you know, they don't speak. The ancient Welsh people mapped out the stars with man-made hills all over, and then they buried certain stuff under those hills, you know, corresponding to different things.
It's like the Mayans being able to see all the systems of the Pleiades and numbering them as to how many there were, and we couldn't even see them until recently.
And then imagine,
how did they do that?
Right, imagine the Mayans built mounds all over fucking Peru or something to correspond. This would be huge news. It'd be all over the world. Look at what the Mayans did, but the Welsh do it. No one cares. Cover it up, right?
Yeah, and they pick and choose with the mound situation too. They won't let people dig into them, but they say it's to protect Native Americans. But if they want to get rid of one, they have no problem doing it for any random reason.
Same thing here. If you go and try to dig up one of those mounds, you'll get done by Heritage England, right? But they won't go and dig them up. Okay.
I don't know where I heard it, but I like the idea that the mounds are actually covering up the dead giants.
Well, possibly.
Kind of neat to me.
Britain itself, the name
idea
comes from a mythology of a giant who died, and his body became the island itself, and that was the original Albine. And then French mythology talks about England originally being overrun by giants before humans came in. Now, this is a connection to Tartaria. The last giant killed by Brutus was apparently called Gog Magog. Now, Gog Magog is from Tartaria, the region.
Down, Campbell, comment down.
So there's a lot of connection. And I was reading Anglo-Saxon poetry the other day about this comet Apophis, and it literally says the work of giant laid in ruins, the towers of giants.
Well, I think giants were all over the place. I don't really think that there's much debate whether there even existed at all anymore.
In Britain and Malta, and this is one of the reasons is because the Jews are told that the promised land was for them, and the point being that once the angels left, the promised land was for them. And what you don't understand is that the promised land is Israel. It's Britain. Okay, it's angel land of the angels. Okay, built by giants.
Angles, Anglo-Saxon, Anglo.
It was promised to the tribes of Israel. Right? So when the first tribes of Israel arrived in Cornwall, they arrived, and the original British people recognized their right to be there and said, "Cornwall, we recognize your right." And now you know this because in Cornwall, there's a place called Mara Zion, Bitter Zion. The reason it's called that is because when the Jews arrived after Troy, they told the Jews that were already there of Zion's fall, of Israel's fall, and they named the place Bitter Zion. We are bitter about Zion. This is now Mara Zion. That's in Cornwall. So, you know, there's Jews.
Is that to do? Sorry, is that linked up with? Is that linked up with like King Arthur and that whole kind of narrative and Wales and the Welsh and because it seems to be a bit of a subculture almost, doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure that I've talked to Cambell about this before, but the rest of you, do you know about the Temple Mount location in Jerusalem not being what we call the Temple Mount?
Well,
I've talked to Cambell.
I've heard of.
Yeah, you've gone over that in detail, Beaks, with me and Campbell on a couple of streams before.
Okay. That's just one of my favorite research rabbit holes that I try to keep.
I love the fact that in that you've included that it's like there was a spring that erupted
The
twice
Gihon
there.
Spring, yes. The
The
Gihon Spring. The
Well,
only
it's like,
spring
so-
in the area.
Right, what you got to understand about this, right? Let's say that, for example, that the Bible was true and that like the devil did erupt from a city somewhere.
Careful now, I'm
Right.
standing in front of a church with a full
Well,
church choir
the
that I
point
had to
is-
mute myself out as I walked by as you were swearing profusely.
The point is that the devil would want you to not believe it's his city. So let's say if the devil emerged in London, he doesn't want you to know it's London. He'll tell you it's Israel. And that, I think this is a big part of the way that the twisting is. Because, like, for example, we have a piece
Where
of
is Hillary Clinton these days?
Was that right? In Wales, there's a place called Nevern, and there's a piece of
Do we
the
really want
cross
to know?
That's
that
Hillary.
Jesus was crucified on.
No.
Cross in Nevern, right? Buried, a piece of Jesus's crucifixion cross, right? So the question behind this is, did it come to Britain or was it already in Britain, right? And if it was already in Britain, that means Jesus was crucified in Britain, which means that all the Jesus events happened in Britain, which would
Hey,
mean that
now, if we're going to go blasphemous,
you're gonna
what
start
about
triggering people left, right,
Jerusalem
and
being in
centre.
Moscow?
Oh my god!
Oh my
There's
God.
also the theory of
warning!
Jesus in
Trigger
Japan.
warning!
Have you heard of the Jesus in Japan thing before?
Jesus in
was it
Japan.
just
There's
a
also
You
the
guys are
theory that
literally
Jesus
going to
was
get me
crucified.
crucified if the choir behind me hears what you guys are saying.
Guys, look, I've studied every religion around the world,
It's
and when it
just gonna
comes to
explode.
Jesus, just take everything you know and throw it out and start over, okay? Because what you've been told was not
Oh
true.
my
So
God.
start
Oh,
fresh,
yeah, exactly.
and it just there's more to the story. It's just not the story that we've been told.
In fact, a way to look at it is that we might all have the same story, but told from different places, right? So again, when I was doing last night's video, this came up that there was a place
Different
called Ormuz,
perspectives, yeah.
right? There was a city called Ormuz. It got destroyed, and the people moved to a volcanic island, and they called the island Ormuz.
See, in the chat, they're saying
Right.
Jesus was literally traveled everywhere.
Well, the thing is, right, is Jesus might have been in one place, but the people he was around might have moved, and then they've got to their new place and gone, "Oh, Jesus was here." But he wasn't here. He was over there, but they've moved. And it's the same like
I just got one thing to add. When did they invent the letter J? Does anybody know? Let's start
well,
there.
to be fair, right,
1600s. Yeah.
right, I'm
Yeah,
going to tell you
we
this, right?
should
Exactly.
start there.
Jesus,
If we're
yeah,
going to go
yeah.
there, let's start there.
The English language
Start where it
is
started.
fabricated, okay? It is fake, okay? I'm telling you right now.
It says 1478 to 1550
So-
was around the time it was
I'm
invented.
telling you, English is fake. I'm telling it you. English is fake, right? You can go to the 14th century and be presented with English language,
Well,
and you can.
I agree with you, Luke, because when I look into a lot of religious texts, the translations into English are so ridiculous. It's
Well, just
unbelievable
right,
sometimes.
even go back 100 years past English you can understand, and you'll suddenly be like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? There's no nice curve. There's no understanding of cohesion. It's just one day it's kind of almost English, and then one day it is English. And it literally is. It's just one day it's who's thou, thou, you know. And it's
Are we talking about English, or are we talking about that shit that you talk over there?
No, I'm talking about proper
We got
English.
We're talking UK drill slang here. We
What,
got
the stuff in
some
England, you
Jack
mean?
7 in the house.
Right. Hey, if you want some truth, you know Roman.
Speak English, motherfucker.
English, motherfucker. Do
And
you
this is
speak
why I ended the stream on my monetized channel and only on my larger unmonetized.
Here's
Sorry
the-
Poor
right,
kid.
Roman,
Biggs,
Roman,
you would
I'm
not
gonna-
know English if he came up and politely asked you to shut up.
So I'm going to say, right, Roman language, we don't have a single piece of Roman from before the 12th century. It's all copies, right? I guarantee you, there's no Roman before the 12th century, right? It's all copied into Roman, which was a dead language, right? So at some point in the 12th,
Latin,
13th,
so
14th,
yeah. Are we talking Latin?
somebody. Well, yeah, no, Latin, seriously, right? There's no old Latin. In fact, all the old Latin you'll find is actually called Pig Latin. It's wrong. And they go, oh, these guys didn't understand it. Well, what if the people that were writing on stones did understand it, and we're the ones that fucks it up? Like, this is the point that Latin.
Now, why do they?
Go on.
Sorry, just to go completely sideways, why do they call it Pig Latin and Pig English? And there's that whole tie between people and pigs.
Well,
Just
I
a
mean
random sideways
well, to be
thought.
fair,
I thought it was cops.
humans and pigs share the same skin, so
That's racist.
I'm not kidding. You could if you were to switch organs with an animal, your pig's your best.
I'm building a hog pen right now.
They
by
can
the way.
literally.
Sorry.
Yeah, they can put pig hearts and organs and stuff in humans. Yeah, skin
Yeah,
grafts,
yeah.
everything. It works pretty well, but when you laugh, you start going.
Good.
I mean, maybe that's why the Muslims say to not eat pig.
And the Jewish
Snotty.
and Orthodox Christians.
Yeah.
Well, are they saying it's not, or are they saying it's not? It's like that joke, right? Oh, is my nose bleeding? No, it's not. Ooh.
But
Where are you at, Bernie?
he's moving about. That's what he's doing.
Bernie's giving us a live tour of God's realm.
Lurking somewhere.
He's enlightening us. We should all be inspired.
Although one thing I will tell you guys, right, is that we are lied to about Europe's history. So this is the best thing, right? Goes to the 8th century in Britain. There's a guy called King Offa, who was king of a place called Mercia, which pretty much takes up most of North England. And if you find his coins, you can find written in Arabic on them, Allah is the only God. Now, normal history will tell you that he had that written on his coins to make it easier to trade with Spain. You imagine that, hey guys, don't worry about this, just in case you want to trade with Spain, fucking Allah written on it, right? And then you go to the 14th
we'll just announce our God for trade. Yeah.
Exactly, right? You'll find more from the 13th to 14th century medieval British coins with Allah on it, but the most important is that 8th century, because that means that in the 8th century there was at least somebody in Britain that thought Allah was the only God. And if you add that in, you start saying, well, a couple centuries before, Arthur was there and he's supposed to be Christian. What if Arthur's Muslim? What if, what if Magnus Maximus was Muslim? Oh, well, that puts a twist on the Roman Empire.
That's where the whole thing comes in.
Then the question becomes, is it Muslim, or is it, because, we've got this whole, was there really just one, not the right word, but religion, right? One sort of thought and yeah.
Yeah, we should clarify that in certain old books.
I don't think they needed religion. I don't think God needs religion. We don't need religion to have God, to be with God, to
well, it's to
God. I think
religion,
religion
right?
is something
to turn
that the controller came up with to control.
Well, religion is an accident. Okay? God turned up. Hey guys, don't worry. I'm going to be coming back in a few years. Just everybody chill. It's fine.
We're triggering people.
Like, why are you killing each other?
And
they were like, no, because we love you. And he was like, no, just chill, just don't do anything. And he comes back, and they've all got fucking armies.
Because the first commandment is "Thou shalt not kill," so let's kill in God's name.
Well, exactly.
Well, that's where
Stuff
Beagle's what Stuff Beagle said applies to that, because he's saying that it was created by the controllers, which makes sense, because if you look at at least the mainstream monotheistic religions, especially if you're thinking of Eastern Orthodox Christianity, they literally wear like hijabs to this day, just like Muslims do.
Oh well, yeah.
The connections between the religions are so strong. There are minor differences, yes, but overall the stories are the exact same. The exact same characters, the exact same prophets. Everything is the same. So they just it seems like at some point they may have just divided it up to see what worked best in each area or something. If there are people who control everything.
Well, they also wanted to create division. Now, let me just state something. If the theory is correct that the city of David is the actual location of the temple of Solomon, then that means that the Dome of the Rock is not the temple location, which means that all this land that they're fighting over today, there is no reason to fight. And these religions can stop fighting, and we can become, peaceful, instead of fighting over a damn piece of land that ain't what they think it is.
They don't want us to be peaceful.
Right, you've answered it for yourself. So who are the actual, I don't want to go too deep into this for monetization, but the actual Jews that are in Israel are Kazakh Jews, pretty much. They're the 13th tribe, right?
Well, there's two sides. There's people that protest against what they're doing, so don't discredit those people that are Jewish.
No, the Zionists, because those are both separate. They're similar, but they're separate.
If you go by official history, the Kazakhs were given the choice of joining Christianity, Muslim, or Judea, and they chose Judea. They even changed all the names to literally sound like Obadiah. stuff, right? And then the next thing they know, there's the World War II, and then they move to Israel and say we're the real Jews. So the thing is, you've got to understand is that
exactly. So they're false.
It's a farce.
Yeah.
It's a farce. Right. So,
Let's call them the Don
and
Man.
of
Don't
course,
say that.
like,
Don't say the J word anymore. Just call them Don Man.
yeah. Let's just imagine that the real place is either in Britain or
Ashkenazi,
America or Serbia or it's somewhere else. Point is we're not looking at it. The war's happening over there.
Okay, guys. We got the Western Wall on what we call the Temple Mount, correct? Will we all agree?
I think it's part of a bigger city structure.
Wailing Wall is
I think the whole thing.
But yes.
Slow your rolls. Okay, we got the Western Wall. What is the Western Wall supposed to be?
Slow your rolls.
Part of the temple, right?
Wall on the west.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a part of the temple. That's why the Jews go up and bang their head on it. Okay. Now,
the original temple.
If you read in the Bible, they tore down the temple, every stone down to the foundation. So what the fuck is the Western Wall? It can't be.
Right. We know that Israel's rebuilt, but what I'm trying to say is that if you were the devil, isn't the best trick to trick the people to not even pray at the right place?
I'll do you one better. Who says there's a devil?
Well, no, but I'm just saying, just imagine, hypothetically, evil people, right? Let's say evil people. Doesn't have to be the devil, just dickheads, right?
Haven't you seen the pictures?
Right?
Hey, I'll give you
how simple it is, right? Imagine you've got a picture on the wall of Jesus and a picture on the wall of Satan, right? As soon as Jesus leaves the room, Satan swaps the name tags. That's how simple it is. Okay, he just swaps the name tags. So when the guy with horns walks in, devil,
aka Luciferianism.
Well, no, but the thing is, the point we're being tricked. So
here's another thing.
The devil is horned.
They tore down the temple and they kicked the Jews out for 1,000 years. Okay, they didn't come back, right? And so the first people that come back, guess was who? The Christians. Okay, and they take their happy ass up in there and they say this is the Temple Mount because they see this big structure, which by the way is what's called Fort Antonia. It's not the little corner of what we call the Temple Mount. The whole fucking thing is Fort Antonia.
Because I'm telling you, it's fake.
Okay, and the Temple Mount was actually below it, below the Ophel. And you go down, and it's right near the Gihon Springs. That is the original location of the Temple Mount that was torn down to the very foundations.
Well, if you listen to David Owen Jr., he'll say that the Star Forts were part of Solomon's water system because he apparently built this huge lake system. That sort of stuff.
Oh, that's fascinating that you say that. Sorry, Luke, I have to cut you off because there's a Solomon's temple in the Grand Canyon Pyramid Complex. And that I believe that entire area was dammed up in a giant water going city.
This is the point, though. Like we imagine, like say, that we're the most advanced. So what if there was a genuine world government with a King Solomon who said, "I'm going to build all this and do all this"? You've got to exploit different ideas, and this is the point about moving stuff, right? So by creating a world where this happened all in here, go fight over that. You're not fighting. You're nowhere near the real artifacts. Think about it. Imagine if the Ark is in Wales and you're fucking fighting over Israel, right? That's the point. Like, for example, the cross of Jesus is supposed to be in heaven, right? Like, the point is the real artifacts are far away. Like Ethiopia, that comes up with Billy Carson all the time, right? So that's definitely not true. If a guy on the fucking, on TV on Ancient Aliens is saying go to Ethiopia, it's not there, right? And that's how simple it is. They want right? Because what do they want? They want the promised land for the promise. They see themselves as the promise. And what has Britain done? It's done Brexit. Keep all the immigrants out. That's it. Okay, Britain.
We built a wall.
Land. It's the secret promised land where they're.
Well, you didn't really.
You did Brexit. We built a wall.
Effort.
Come on, America.
It's a bad wall.
I'm telling you what it is. Britain was the city or the country of the Nephilim or the angels who built cities, and then
Lord,
they've left.
Don't get me started on this.
Whatever race of definitely taller people as.
Well, who were the angels?
Well, the angel land.
I mean, this was. Have you read the Oralinda book? Talks about that they that they found it in the habit of the UK, and that it was the top end was used as like copper mines and that, but they came down from a sunken island up in the north and came down. So I mean, is that the angels, the angles, these big, tall, white people?
But
You know, I mean,
not
that's
the
how they're
angles.
described, right? Like,
Okay.
who are these people?
I'll show you this, right? So you've heard about
Or
Tartarians.
do they come from space?
I've heard about Tartaria.
You've heard about Tartarian giants, right?
I have.
Yeah, and you've heard of Gog Magog in
Yes.
the Bible. Yeah, right. So in Britain, the last
Yes.
giant killed by Brutus was called Gog Magog, right? And the
Gog
Cambridgeshire,
Magog. Yeah.
Cambridgeshire Hills called.
Well,
them
he
Gog
might have been
Magog.
called Bill. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is they're
We're
both
told that
right.
We're
The
told.
Tartar is supposed to be from the tribes of Israel. England and Wales supposed to be from the tribes of Israel. The same people, right? So they got the same stories. So the same stories have just moved out to different places. The same stories. Gog Magog. Brutus was supposedly killed the last giant when he came to Britain. Welsh folklore say Britain was inhabited by giants. You go to Anglo-Saxon poetry after the comet, it says the work of giants was destroyed, and all the people that could have fixed it were dead, and they were giants, right? And
Albion, when it used to be called Albion, that's what they change all the names around too. That's the other thing they do, right?
Well, yeah. So in folklore, Albion was a giant, like a titan whose body was used as Britain. And then there's the real Albion, which is Albine, who was a Syrian lord, king from Assyria in 1600.
And then is that and then you got albino,
Skywalker, I was getting ready to say
the white
Scythian.
people.
Well, in fact, yeah, albino white people. Think about this, right? Caucasian literally means from the region of Caucasus. Okay, Caucasians, the Circassians, the Tartarian.
The Caucasus Mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, Caucasians. We're all from a tiny place, tiny place. Caucasians.
I think I have told some of y'all about my Lake Cannabis theory, where they blew it up and they took out. They made the Grand Canyon or blew out the Grand Canyon. I think. Have I told you? It's hard to remember who I told what, but basically, Lake Cannabis, the heart-shaped Lake Cannabis that we see on maps, I believe was in the area,
the one that
east of Utah,
on the west
Salt Lake
coast,
City,
sort of,
and that they blew that out. There was a
kind of inland from the west.
This
Static
person
in the attic
4x4
did a bit of work on it.
What?
This person in the comment, Caucasians are Dagestan. In Dagestan, there's actually a canyon similar to the Grand Canyon, and there's also a random sand dune that's like in the middle of nowhere.
Really?
Most sand dunes are connected to the sea and have all this wind and stuff that causes them. But
I gotta check that out.
Let me share screen for a second, Cam. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, man.
Let me get it pulled up, and then
I'll post the Dagestan Canyon in the chat.
Oh, come on! I was all ready, man. Now what am I going to do? Give me all work.
You could share my screen real quick if he's not ready.
Yours isn't there either. I've only got 5 down there.
Right as soon as I can find it in this list.
The Grand Canyon made by lightning. Ooh. I mean, that's, we do see these. What are they called?
I think they're being plasma.
The lightning lines. Yeah, what are those lines we see?
I'm ready whenever.
What's the
Go
word?
ahead first, Big. That's fine.
I'll remember in a minute. Someone tell me in chat.
Do Beegs real quick. I'll just post this in the chat. Anyone can look this up if that wants to. This is the Grand Canyon in Dagestan. Basically, it's actually deeper than the Grand Canyon. But show Beegs' screen. I'll just post this in the chat for anyone who wants to look into it.
Oh, that's awesome. You got to share screen before we can share it.
It should be sharing.
We got it.
You got it?
That's you, B.
Okay.
Yep, got you.
All right. Okay, what you're looking at here is the United States on Google Earth. My theory is that Lake Cannabis is right here, the heart shape, and that when they blew it out, there was a city. If you look on old maps, there's a city in the center of Lake Cannabis. And I believe that they blew it out in 3 places, or the explosion went 3 different ways. One way it went to the north, west, and it created what we know as Salt Lake City, Salt Lake. And then the other 2, one is to the east. Down at the bottom here, you see a blowout right here. And then the one that goes to the west, and that created it went through the Colorado River and blew out the Grand Canyon. And this was
And so,
if you can imagine that this is a whole sea, this whole thing right here was
get rid of that. Had to be, if it's salt water, it would have had to been connected to like the oceans at one point, right? It's like trapped
I
water.
don't know if it was salt water or if there was some sort of radiation or something that caused, kind of like over here, the same thing I believe happened over here in Sodom and Gomorrah. And created
go northeast Siberia, you'll see some weird shit
right here. I believe that the same deal with Sodom and Gomorrah, where it created the Dead Sea, is the same thing that happened in Salt Lake.
Okay, now go west to the tip of north, and now northeast.
Go west.
Right.
It's peaceful there.
Further north.
Tip of Siberia.
Right, yeah. Zoom in on there. Right, zoom in on the land on the left now. On the left, Siberia. Yeah, zoom in on that. Look at some of the land going around at the top north area. All right, get right in close and see some of the actual groundwork around that. It's really freaky.
Well, this is where I believe they basically bombed them out.
That's what people think.
Area.
Yeah. Zoom in on this stuff, you'll see why it's like.
Yeah, like that just looks like total annihilation. Like
I just posted a map.
I
posted a map in the chat for everyone. If you want to compare this to what it looked like in the past, I just posted a map. There's these.
Another thing to think for people, by the way, is if it isn't bombing, look at the water. All it would take is a slight raise in water levels, and that whole thing would be underwater, basically. So
now we have the same phenomena in America also as well.
Yeah. So I was just saying, it's another way to look at it.
They call them bays in America.
Right. They call them bays because of the trees that are around them. But they call them the Carolina Bays. And basically, they're these marks like these. These are White Lake is definitely the story got now. White Lake they say was a meteor, but it was probably the same thing. But these are different.
I took my hoodie off for free, by the way, so donation.
That's not the gist of it. What?
We got Joe Rogan's DMTL saying this stream is an event for sure.
The hoodie came off for free, so my shirt will come off for £25 donated to my Buy Me a Coffee.
Please sub this fool.
There you go. Hold yourself back, girls.
By the end of the night, everybody sub me.
We don't want any riots starting.
Yeah, if you want to check.
We're trying to get his sub count to go above 10,000 to impress his mama.
Yeah.
Campbell, can you share my
Of course. And guys, by the way, I've been trying to hit 75K for like, I don't know, 2 months, because of course I get 2,000 to 3,000 subs every month, and it takes me 2 months to go up like 500 subs. I'm literally at, what am I at? I'm at 74,900 and something.
Yeah, so you're 100 away from 75.
Oh, you're right there.
Yet a month ago, you reached 75,000. I saw it, Campbell. I wish I had screenshotted it, and they knocked you back down the same day.
Do it.
I'm willing.
That's how I got Shim's numbers
to show
up.
a bit of skin. If that's going to help me, let me know.
That's right. Campbell is willing to show the skin, and you can see it all over at.
The code for the if you want me to, let me know, and I'll put the code for the special OnlyFans video.
Campbell showing the skin.
If you want to see more skin than that, it will cost you a sub, basically. I'm cheap. Just I'll get it all off. Just subscribe to me.
I research, and then I can just tell it to Cam. And
let me feel the fabric of your fiber. Come on.
I could do a striptease, and Luke could be going, and now he's taking off his shirt. He's
got to do that voice that he does.
It'll appear on Cambell's Tartarian Truth featuring Beeg's Crack.
Removed his clothes. He's looking for extra donations.
David Attenborough describes Campbell.
No. You want more of that?
Hey, Campbell, can you share my screen quickly.
Here we are at the Ornicam site, and you'll see the specimen Campbell.
I tell you what, how many of your
Sorry.
fans
I'll
would pay real money to send you and me on a real life road trip? Right?
Yeah,
I feel like that's
let's ask
the
them.
right
How
amount
many
with
of you would give us real
Yeah.
money to
Where's
do a
that-
real
where's the
road
call
trip?
at?
a 28-year-old
Trip.
British
What were we
Every
gonna
stream
call
I'm
it?
on, people talk about going on a
Questions-
fucking road trip. It's crazy.
Australian commence a trip across the
Questions
world.
and comments. What was it? Yeah. Who wants to
Mate,
do
this-
it?
Yeah, this is
I'll even.
cool.
How about this? If you guys fund it, I'll take my shirt off in different locations, in front of different buildings, and then
Oh my god.
if you want to give lots of money, I'll put it back on again.
Oh, here's one, right? If someone buys me a ticket to Australia, I will film the annoying Cam live for the entire duration of
There
my
you go.
trip.
I need a cameraman.
What are we looking at here? What am
Okay,
I-
so this is stuff.
Why
Devo
do I
just
have
showed
a
me.
feeling an
yes.
Andrew Tate sort of
We were
scandal is
history-
going to
we were
form out of this
history.
community?
Zip it, Skippy.
If you want to escape
So
the Matrix, you
here-
have to find Tartarian.
We were just looking at the area in northern Siberia, and this is what it looked like according to this 1450 map. So you saw how on that
Oh.
map all those bays were there, and it looked completely destroyed. But in 1450, apparently, this entire area was filled with giant cities and giant structures. Now there's nothing
Is
there.
it upside down to us today? Is that
It
the?
is. We're looking
Okay,
south. Yeah.
They did that a lot back then. Okay.
So
right.
yeah, for
You know-
reference, this is Siberia up here. Here's Japan over
Look,
here.
you
It's-
see that? Look, that's
Right,
where
right,
that rock
okay.
band Sepultura comes from. Did you see it?
No, there's
Sorry.
Cat's
I
Eye.
just
Right,
said
this one thing I want to
Sepultura.
bring up, by the way, is that the
Sepultura.
magnetic North Pole does move, right? It fully does move, and it moves quite a bit. If you actually Google how much it moves, it's quite a lot, but that's not true north. It doesn't spin the planet, it changes magnetics. But they've had
Oh Lord.
compasses since the 12th century. So imagine that you were using a compass making your map in the 12th century, and it's telling you that north is in Canada, and you make your map, and then a few 100 years later you're making new maps. You're using the old ones thinking they haven't changed. So when like Portuguese people turn up and ask for maps, you give them your maps, so they think, oh, okay, this is correct. Like you'll see the Caspian Sea is displayed east to west instead of north to south. What if that's because the north was in Canada and their compasses were telling them that north was that way? So they've drawn
Well, it's
them.
very possible that we've
Well,
had
didn't-
pole shift, things like that.
Listen, I'm
A
talking
little more of a
Yeah,
crypto
but
argument.
I'm
Sorry,
not a
guys, to
fast one.
interrupt. I gotta
this
go.
map we're looking at-
If you're still in a little bit, I'll rejoin.
All right, sweet,
Okay.
See you
bro.
later, Bernie.
I'm not talking
All
about
right,
fast
Bernie.
ones. I'm
Well,
talking about a
say hi to God for me.
I'm talking about a slow-moving pole shift, as in you
I'll
don't
put,
know.
I'll put in a
No.
prayer for you all.
Over 400 years, the poles have moved
Oh,
from Canada
thanks.
to the Arctic, and the people making the maps don't
Shout out
have
God.
a
We love God.
right, so they won't know, and they'll make their maps, and you won't realize when you're getting their maps that you're getting information based on a pole in a different place.
What,
I mean, I
and
think,
this map
yeah.
is also upside down, isn't it? This is the one that's drawn upside down, like as far as most maps, like north is.
Yeah, oh,
it's
but then
upside down.
There is the horror story, which is basically admit that water levels were different
Did it
based
switch?
on old, which is a horror story because it just raises so many fucking questions. But it's a very big possibility because you won't like this, but the way that globe Earth works includes a bulge at the equator. So if you did twist a planet, it would mean that like certain
Now-
What the hell?
I
well,
thought it was an oblate spheroid. Now it's an oblate spheroid with a bulge at the middle. What
look,
is that?
We just agree on certain things. Don't hate me. I'm just saying it'd be easy to explain because like because on a flat Earth you have to raise like all water levels kind of all at the same time. But on a globe you can just spin the planet a bit, and that means that the
You're
Mediterranean.
killing me, Junior. You're killing me.
Oh, just right. Look, hey, just for the record, I'm fine with it being flat. I don't
Let the man
care,
speak.
right?
He's a
I don't-
globalist.
whether it's
Illuminati
like-
confirmed.
Right. This is what they want. They want us to argue over the shape. They don't want you to fucking focus on the truth.
I didn't know it was an argument. I didn't know. I thought we'd already settled this.
No, when people sigh, I've got to defend myself. I know that people have different opinions. I disagree on certain things, but we're all on the same side. That's all I mean.
Luke, when was King Offa in England?
It was 9th century, 800.
Okay.
And it sounds a lot like King Arthur, doesn't it? King
And
Arthur.
guys, I am
It's
biased.
just like a
right?
British way of
But
saying King Arthur. It's King
I
Arthur,
think-
mate.
Yeah,
King
when he
Arthur.
first said it, that's what I thought he was saying was King Arthur,
Yeah.
but I looked into it and I
I'll
found it was
admit-
Offa.
all your viewers that I'm biased because if
Yeah.
the Earth turned out to be flat, I'd have to like throw out so much research, just like fuck it, right? So
Okay.
I'm
Right.
biased. Dude. I've got
Man,
my
I had
fucking-
people come to my house and tell me I had to research it, like literally, because I refused to. I had people come to my house and say, you have to research flat Earth. And I was like, what the fuck?
Well, to be
I
fair,
had trouble
I'm
with
not
flat Earth.
kidding.
That one gave me that. I had trouble accepting that one.
well, as well, though, you've got to see it from like a point of view of as
I
a
know,
channel.
right? I had to give up my
Right?
aliens, but then
Like,
I
I'll
found them
tell you,
again.
as someone that doesn't believe, when you don't believe flat
Is
Earth,
this map frozen?
if
Oh.
somebody does believe in it, you won't listen to them. So, for example, Campbell, if somebody listens to you and they don't believe flat Earth, they'll hear you think flat Earth and they'll be like, "Fuck that," right? And that's a barrier that we need to get over.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
they
decided on
disregard
how it
everything
works,
else
but I
you
do
say.
believe it's flat. I definitely feel that that's. Yeah.
Well, I just work in a way that things get more complex, not more simple. So if I'm thinking like, oh, it should be a ball, it'll probably be like a fucking multi-dimensional ball that I can't even comprehend, you know?
Something happened with mine.
But like I said, I don't care about
I
that.
mean, for
Yeah,
all
the
we know, the
Taurus.
whole damn thing is a simulation, and it doesn't. All this shit's just.
Yeah,
Now
like,
sound like
nothing.
archaic.
I mean, let's
What I
let's get real.
what I do know is that, like, you know, if you try
We're
and
just
prove
in the
that,
holodeck of the Star Trek Enterprise, man.
It's just, I mean, it's very possible we're just God's mind, and God's thinking up a bunch of shit at one time.
I think you're very
Just
right.
God's mind, working, chilling, thinking, being God, being creating. Why not?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you don't need a flat Earth for that. Like, although I think one of the best answers for flat Earth
You don't
is
need an Earth at all. I mean, it can just all be
right.
a thought.
The best one of the best examples of flat Earth would be if higher intelligences were involved, and I could really accept that they've gone right. Grab a chunk of this planet and let's fucking work on a species. Like I could get.
Well,
Like,
yeah, it comes more from the creation point of view, where Globe Earth is from the scientific, scientism point of view. So
yeah.
I'd agree
Yeah.
with that.
So is that to you? Are the religious texts just like an allegory for the shape of the Earth, then, or what does it mean to you?
I mean, that's a very hard question when you consider it. It could be dependent on like how simple the people were when they were told. Like I said, I would be happy to accept that was the case. I mean,
they talk about the flat Earth in the early text, and then they switch.
well, I mean, look, hypothetically,
You
if
know?
you want to go simulation theory, right? If you take like No Man's Sky, you're on a ball, but you're not. You're always flat, and it could be exactly the same for us. Like you are on a ball, but you're always flat because of the way the game works. It could easily be like that. Like I say, they want us to fixate on this though. This is the point, because so many people in the truther community that believe true stuff also believe in flat Earth. So the say you believe in flat Earth, a load of people will just be like bullshit, and that's the point. That's why they do it.
No, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so like think about
yeah, so do I, because it's especially because there's such a big sort of UFO space kind of truther community. It's like puts the division straight down the middle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it cuts us in half. Yeah, exactly. You're the idiot.
I mean, I cut my teeth on Ancient Aliens back 2008-ish. You know, I mean, when I first woke up, I was like, "Oh, this stuff's great."
Well,
now I
was that
still
dude's
love the
name?
archaeology,
The hair?
but the
Yeah,
Ancient Aliens
I've seen
part, I
people-
just
The
throw
carrots
that
or
out.
something.
I've seen people arguing over whether the aliens are us or they're actual independent species. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, you know? Like, this is the point. It's division. It's that same thing as like putting name tags. Where are you from? Australia, America, this, that. Are you gay, straight, whatever? You know, you're man, woman. It's just box, tiny box. You're on your own, right? They don't want you to sit and go, oh shit, I'm just like an avatar of a fucking multi-dimensional being, you know?
Well,
like,
this is my biggest issue with the truther community is that people are starting to behave exactly like the community that we left to begin with. The entire reason that a lot of us came to this movement was because we wanted to have open minds to everything and not behave that way and not exclude people from certain things because of their beliefs. And
I
it seems
spent
like
the last year going up again and going up to different people in the community and saying, hey, I don't exactly agree with this. And I would question them on it, and I would get like flack hitting me left and right. And I just finally just said, fuck it, y'all deal with the hog.
Yeah, and that's why like I don't get mad at you for your censorship, because I know you've been through it. That's why like I'm still,
honestly,
I respect you.
I will tell you when you here's the way you went down. Okay, and I think I've explained this well enough to you, but I'll tell you again. I had been in fight after argument after fight after argument for a year. Okay, and then one day you leave a comment on my John Levy interview video. And you were being a smartass about John Levy, and which is fine. I don't have any problem with that. But then I went to look at your channel and I saw what you were doing, and I thought, you know what? I don't need this shit. I've had too much bullshit going on, and I blocked you because I just when you've had enough, and you don't want more, and it just gets old. And it wasn't you personally. It was just I'd had a fucking enough.
And I got that. That's why, like, that's why I had enough. That's why I don't care, because I knew that this is a step forward in the community, because people need to understand that you can criticize each other without hating each other. We need to behave like our ancestors and be more open to having conversations that we don't agree with.
Hey, truth, man. You probably maybe need to like put a disclaimer on your channel, because I remember, obviously I've only been in this for a couple of weeks. When I first saw you, it was on that dude's video the other day, and like I assumed you were like a dickhead. I was like, oh,
no, I am a dickhead. I'm not trying to be cool and try to be anyone's friend. I'm a piece of shit. Literally, I'm straight up just a piece of shit. But
I will. That's another thing that I would like to say is that I'm 50 years old, and I do not get why people enjoy the trolling thing. I don't understand it.
There's a lot of layers to what I'm doing, and one of them is trying to get people to understand like that you don't necessarily have to agree with someone in order to be friends with them or communicate with them. You can literally make fun of people and still be friends with them and still be respectful and still be nice.
One in particular,
because it's so sensitive now that I have to be so extreme with this stuff. I literally got banned from Robert Seffer's Facebook group for asking a very simple question, and I don't remember what it was, but I was completely shocked because, like I said, I came to the community looking for that different behavior that escaped from reality, basically, like a different alternative way of living life. But the people who are the leaders of this community are behaving exactly like the elite that everyone claims to be fighting against. They ban people for the most simple, ridiculous reasons. You know what I mean?
Are you saying that I'm not a leader of this community?
No, you are, and I think you are.
I'm either offended or I'm an asshole.
Everyone in this community.
I'm saying like
the one guy.
But this is the thing: is like they'll always give you a hero card. If people are looking, like alternative history came up through Graham Hancock pretty much, and now look at all the different people that they put up for us, and you go to them for alternative viewpoints. But like you say, if you ask a question that's outside of their alternative viewpoint, then now you're a shill.
Well, it ties back into what Beagle was saying originally, though.
Right. Graham Hancock has been allowed on it because he's presenting an alternative view that doesn't actually go against the alternative view. The view is that it was just an ancient civilization, right? All this stuff is still ancient, but
way back in the past. Yeah,
exactly. They don't want to talk about like the possible.
Whoa, hold on, Junior. Hold on. Graham Hancock has been doing this before we all were in fucking roles. Okay, so you got to give him credit where credit was due. He didn't have the information when he started making his material that we have now. So we have to give him the respect that he deserves.
Totally,
But he also got some shit right.
Nothing against Graham.
At the same time, you're not appearing on Joe Rogan, are you? You're not presenting vanilla.
Have you got a watch on your wrist?
You know what I mean? Like,
have you got an Anunnaki watch, Biggs?
Oh, I thought you meant
me.
Biggs
has got an Anunnaki watch tattooed on his wrist.
That's pretty cool.
He's got two of them.
Well, just in case one
like the watches, the Anunnaki, you need a strap. You need to go back. We need to get a beagle tattoo fund going so we can get the rest of the watch. Like, he hasn't got the strap.
But anyway,
anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
Right. So with Graham Hancock, like I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I love the show on Netflix and stuff and all this stuff. But what I mean by is these theories don't go against science, right? As in, science says we're 220,000 years old as we.
But they did when he first came out.
No,
You got to understand, we're whippersnappers compared to this dude.
No,
That's true.
His story goes against science.
When he came out, he was revolutionary. His shit was on point. But he got some shit wrong, and he did. We got some shit wrong too, y'all. We ain't
Hey guys, I think we all need to calm and cleanse.
No, hey, we're agreeing on the same point. What you're misunderstanding me. What I'm saying is, his point of view is still mainstream. Get me? Because like, even though he's saying different stuff, it still fits in with the narrative. As in, like, that humans are X amount of years old. We might have had an older civilization, but do you get what I mean? As in, it goes against current history, but it doesn't go against like the narrative. It's just saying, okay, there was an older civilization. Whereas something going against the narrative would be like, antiquity, like energy before we had it.
It's a stepping stone.
Yes.
It's just a piece of the puzzle.
Graham's ideas are more meldable to the
and then we move on. And we built. Look, I'm standing on Hancock's shoulders. Okay, I'm stomping him down. Okay, and showing where he went wrong. And then somebody's going to come along with me and stomp me down.
Hello, Graham.
That's how we do it.
No, that's the point.
Everybody's going to build on everybody.
I agree totally.
The question is,
if
Graham, I've got a photo with Graham, dude. He was really cool.
Not presenting the truth, is he? Are the elites going to let him appear on Netflix and Joe Rogan showing his fucking truth? No.
Illuminati confirmed. Sorry.
Like
the rogues that got him. Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, I think that I think a lot of these people get used as far as they're saying something that can be useful for the controllers and that, and so they're allowed to speak. It's not always a sort of a situation where they're being told what to say and they're really, really part of the system. A lot of the time these people are just saying something that, and it's like, oh well, we'll let him go ahead because he's kind of taking the narrative where we want him to. But
these guys were at one point, they were like we are today. We're not very popular today, but neither were they when they first came out. Okay.
Yeah, we're not
exactly
what he says. We're just
saying in 15 years we're going to be the dudes.
Well,
yeah, you and I have talked about that.
When you first got into the stuff, though, like, what was the reason for getting into it? Was it because you were looking to be open-minded, or was it because you were thinking about, hey, I'm going to find out exactly how things are, and anyone who disagrees with me, I don't want anything to do with them. Like,
wait a minute, wait a minute. Get into what? Because I've been in this since 2008.
I guess the day that you had your awakening, or whatever people call it, like when you realized the mainstream was off in some way, shape, or form. What caused you to
okay. Long story short, in 2008, I'm watching TV and I saw a documentary on 2012. And I jumped up and I started researching because I thought there's no way in hell that could be possible. Hi.
Oh, he's gone.
It's my mama.
Oh, there he is.
Hi, mama.
The nicest mom.
Hello, Bernie's mom. Hello.
100% the nicest person.
Nicest
ever.
mom.
Nicest mom ever.
Hello, Mrs.
We love my mama. She just helped me finish filing my stupid
class action lawsuit against Purdue Pharmacy
for 10 years of opiate prescriptions that screwed up my life, but I've now been off for 4, so doing all right. But hopefully I get something out of it.
And thank you, Mrs. Alfred.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Have a good night.
Awesome.
Well done, Mom.
That's awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Anywho, I came back in just to make it go live again because y'all are so awesome on my channel.
That's
sorry for you. Look like Robert Smith from The Cure. Can you start singing "Friday I'm in Love" or something?
No, look, we all get into this because we have questions. We find out one thing and then another thing and another thing, And we at first we don't want to believe that. Okay, I didn't want to believe the Earth was flat. I didn't want to believe there was a mud flood. I didn't want to believe that there's a jet fuel hoax and that 911 was an inside job. I didn't want to believe that fucking shit. Okay, but bound and fucking determined to prove that was not true, I did my fucking research.
That's how I got into that shit too.
And I did the due diligence.
Exactly right.
I've read thousands of books, man. I have watched so many videos and listened to so many hours of radio, and I have done my due diligence. I don't talk about this stuff, but I know about it. I know more about 9/11 and JFK than I know about mud flood. Okay, what does that tell you?
Ooh.
I don't talk about that shit.
Then what do you think
It
about
tells me that you're not allowed to speak about that stuff on YouTube or you'll get banned.
No, I don't talk about it because nobody gives a shit.
Beagle, baby, love you, but shut up a sec. Shem.
Oh.
I do
Yeah.
love you, I'm sorry. Shem, what do you think about the shape of the Earth? That, just for the record.
See, this is the point I'm trying to get to here. I don't know the shape of the Earth, which is why.
Oh, he doesn't want to commit.
But hold on. You need to understand where I'm coming from. I lean more towards a flat Earth, but the reason I'm trying to say this is because it's up. I believe it's up to people like us to have an open mind in all situations and use our voices to, in our own words, to try to change the minds of people who disagree with us, as opposed to cutting them off completely. So I'm not saying I know the shape of the Earth because I've never seen it. I have no way of proving it. I can lead towards one way or the other, but that doesn't mean I'm going to disagree with someone who believes in the globe and cut them out of my life. I'm going to take into consideration what they're saying and apply it to my own theories, everything that's valuable from that, and I'm going to be friends with them. I'm not going to be like, fuck you, you believe in the Earth, which is what the community has become.
No. But here's the problem.
Yeah, we say it so often. Is people
hear it? They don't want to do
shut
the
up, Beach.
research.
You've already been told. You've been warned. Shut up.
Around. Cam, you've got the next talk.
You too, Luke. Shut up. Everybody shut up. Now I forgot what I was going to say. It was really good.
I'm not a liberal at all, by the way. I'm definitely not a
lost
liberal.
Control.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. This is the thing, like, questions are better than answers. So, is the answer of, is it flat or round, is that more important than the question of asking, where do we live? What is this reality? Have we been lied to? And this is what all these arguments that we see popping up through our little community are. They're all about, I'm right, you're wrong. They're all about the answer. The questions are more important than the answers. That's the way I see it. They are. And everyone's focusing on the answers.
Real world
most of them we can't prove, so they're false.
And right, you know what?
Okay. Last year, around in January, I was hearing about one of the meltologist researchers, and I asked to have an interview with them, and it didn't work out for who knows what reason.
Did you say meltologist?
Meltologist. Okay.
Very good. Well done.
And
thank you.
So
I know that must have been hard.
Interview, and in preparation for this interview, I started looking into this channel and their work, and I started noticing that one of the things they were talking about was cobblestone brick roads are actually melted brick roads. And so I looked into that and I thought, wait a minute, that's bullshit. And so I asked about that and I couldn't get a response. And so I made a video about it, and that really pissed them off. And so the more I tried to ask, the more they got pissed off, the more they started attacking me. And so then I just went at them and started picking apart their research. But the more I picked it apart, the more I destroyed them, the more they fought me. And there was no conversation back and forth, but I was pounding out and slamming their research, but they were just attacking me.
I agree with you, but think about the long game. The people who, if you entertain the idea that people control our world today, they have a manual of how they've been doing this, and they do slow steps to get to their goal. They don't care if they're alive when their goal is accomplished. So your mindset in that situation, in my opinion, you don't have to do this. I'm just some random fucking guy. But my opinion is your mindset in the situation should be to take the high road. That way, anyone who watches that later can see that you took the high road and you shared information. All those people will be affected. That guy that you're arguing with, he might come around later at some point in the future. That's not on you. You tried. You know what I mean? So don't lower yourself to his level, especially when we're trying to fight against these incredibly powerful people who destroyed our world. You know what I mean? We're fighting a battle against some crazy ass people if they actually exist.
Okay, 10,000 subscribers, I'll become a flat earther. But if we don't get to 10,000, Cam is becoming a round earther. That's how that works.
Look, I don't.
And yes, I do watch.
I don't care if people are a flat earther or a glober or a hollow earther. I don't care about that. What I care about is, have you looked and done the research into these theories? If you have not, then why do you believe what you believe?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's a globe? Have you been up there and looked? No.
A lot of my globe earth theory is from the fact I feel like I'm not qualified to make it. And like, and again, like I said to you before, a lot of like my theories and world beliefs, just like the cognitive dissonance, would have to, you know, go out the window with that. So, you know, I'd prefer to, you know, but like I said, I'd be happy. It's not like I'd sit here if I found out it was flat.
Okay, I'm not the person to convert you to a flat earther, but I'm gonna fuck with you. Okay, I want you to rent a helicopter. Okay, and I want you to take the helicopter straight up in the air. I want you to hover for 30 minutes, and I want you to land, and I want you to tell me, where did you land?
I mean, right. Well, that's hypothetical. Hey, look, I don't.
People are unsubbing from you because you're not a flat earther.
He doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be a flat earther. It has nothing to do with the information.
A stick in, you know, in the ground in Egypt, another stick in the ground here, and I can do all that. The point is no point talking about like hypothetical experiments in a conversation. We have different points of view. The point that I was coming to about it was I'd be fine to be a flat earther. It wouldn't break my world. I'd find it funny if someone went, you know, the world's flat. I'd be like, fucking knew it, like typical, like, you know, like. It would be, wouldn't it? You know, it just fucking would be. Out of all the conspiracies, they'd be like, oh, 9/11, no, that wasn't real. Fucking, you know, oh, the Panama Papers, that wasn't real. But Flat Earth, that one was. You'd be like, oh, fuck. You know? And I don't care. I don't care what the shape of the Earth that is. But the point is that, like, this is division. The fact that we're even having to sit here and argue, and there'll be people watching thinking that I'm an idiot for believing in not believing in Flat Earth. There'll be people thinking you're an idiot for believing in Flat Earth.
No, it's not an idiot for believing in one or the other.
I'm not an idiot because I said the question's more important. I'd sidestep that.
Have you asked the question, like Campbell was saying? Have you looked into it and actually done the research? Because if you haven't, why not?
Well,
the point I'm trying to make. Well, is it? Well, when you say the research,
no, Beagle has a fair point, but at the same time, it's just. Luke is looking into different subjects right now, and I guess what he's sharing with us has nothing to do with the
that's the other
thing.
Matter.
That's true too, yeah.
And you hear that a lot, don't you? Is like they need to look into Flat Earth. They need to look into Flat Earth, but people are going to look into what that, you know. They don't actually have to stop what they're interested in because you tell them to look into Flat Earth. That's a thing I hear a lot, which is just
no. But there's certain things that we as researchers need to know about. And those things we at least should peek under the veil and see what's there. I mean, we know what the things we need to look into.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah.
Well, right. So
we have a responsibility to the viewers, to the community. People are looking at us for answers. Now we don't have them, but at least we should have something to give them. We should have at least done our due diligence.
When I was like, before I got involved in this, there was a guy you might have seen him. He's called like Divergent. Have you seen Divergent? He's got like videos. Yeah, right. I remember watching his videos and being like, whoa, this mud flood is amazing. I need to research this. And then he mentioned Flat Earth, and I was like, fuck that. Right? I'm not saying that's how I think now, but that's how you think when you're in the mode. And that's how most people do this, right? They'll be coming in.
The same with Hollow Earth and Flat Earth years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's like fishing, right? You're reeling it in, you reel too fast and it snaps, right? And if they're coming in and you hear Flat Earth, you think, oh, I'm not being part of that. I'm out. And they'll throw away everything. They won't listen to a word you have to say, right? And which is fair enough because they've been told for years that, you know, people that believe in this are idiots or believe crazy shit or believe in that. So they've been told to diverge away. The same with, you know, COVID and stuff, right?
So we're supposed to keep our mouth shut?
Well, not necessarily.
No, definitely not.
to keep people appeased. Fuck them.
No, not necessarily. But what I'm saying is, like, from my point of view, I don't bring up flat Earth. I just talk about history, right? It doesn't matter, right? If you guys bring it up, then it comes to serve. It has to. But like, I don't. I just talk about history and what's this Tartarian, this that.
No. You're just getting started.
And Tartarian is an easier way in as well to people's minds, because it's not like history's not as ingrained as the globe, right? So it's.
Beagle, I agree that you should
really
share, share the information with people and make it available to them. The only thing we disagree on is I think you have more of a aggressive approach to the people who disagree about that issue. Like the way I would put it for you, which doesn't matter once again, but I would say, like, just try to consider where they're coming from. If you really are truly trying to convince people to come to the side, then try to understand.
I stayed off the internet for 10 years, okay, because I wanted that. I used to have an internet business, and the internet consumed my life. So when I woke up, I got rid of the internet. I went dark for 10 years. It was fucking wonderful. Now, when I come back, you guys have come up with all these, politically correct rules as to how you act and interact with people on the internet. But see, I'm old school. When we have a problem with something, we speak up. We get in a conversation. We speak our minds. We don't like tiptoe around people. We say, hey, I don't agree with you, and this is why.
Tiptoeing, like, right? So when I talk
about a different way.
I agree with that.
Right, the tips of buildings in fucking Astrakhan, right? They could be Antiquitect, they could be just Christian monuments, they could be whatever, right? So I don't sit there and say, this is what it is. I just say, this is what it could be. What do you think? And it's exactly the same with flat. If you want to think the Earth's flat, that's for you. And I've learned for myself to not judge others based on their opinions, because like I said with Divergent, if I'd have turned his videos off, I wouldn't have learned a lot, right? We have different opinions, and we all have no information. I've got information that you don't know, and you've got information I don't know, right?
Here's the problem, though. I have a problem when I'm sitting there knowing that something you're saying is wrong. I'm not talking about flat Earth. I'm talking about there's other topics. Okay, here's an example. One time, Spartan Red, the meltologist, okay, he was saying that a building was a melted building, and I went and did the research, and clear as fuck, it was an art project that was built in Paris. And I showed the
was that the one with the bricks walls coming down onto the ground?
And he swore up and down I was full of shit. And I mean, come on.
But all you can do in that situation is take the high road, though, because that's what divides us from the elites and like the community that we're fighting against, the mainstream narrative that we're fighting against. That's how they behave. They're the ones who cancel other people. They're the ones who censor other people. They're the ones who.
If I've got better information than you, how do I get you to see it? How?
You do what you can, man. That's all you can do. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on what you believe reality is. Like, you just do what you can do, and then you hope people see it. If you put your energy and your effort into it, that's all you can really do.
By that logic,
it sucks. That's just reality.
It's bullshit. Fucking not believing in it, because the point is that I'm bringing people to the same table, to the same topics that don't believe in it. So the people that hear you say flat Earth and be like, fuck that, I'm bringing them in by being like, nah, I don't believe in that, but this is this, right? Like, already I've had people messaging saying like, oh, I agree that I don't believe in that either. So I'm glad, because if they heard that I believed in that,
that's not the one.
And that's fine. The point is, it's okay. If you want to believe in one thing, that's cool. But the point is, bringing everyone to the table is good, because if someone doesn't, they can come to me and get my opinion, which is, oh, well, I do think it's round, but I also agree on all these other things about,
Sorry, you just showed it.
Yeah, someone said in the chat, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Exactly. Right. You can only do what you can do and put the information out there.
That's the one. He was saying that as a melted building. It is a steel frame structure. I have shown pictures of the inside of that thing being torn down.
Pulled out by the facade. It's not red brick.
But all you can do in that situation is point out the flaws in his theory and share it. And then after that, you've done what you can, man. There's nothing more you can do. Obviously, his ego plays a role in it. You know what I'm saying? His ego is preventing him from knowing the truth because he's worried about clickbait or whatever else.
I just moved on because with the meltology, I realized that these people were so freaking had their heads so far up their ass that it was just not even worth it. So I just moved on and just, I figured, if you've ever seen the movie Super Troopers and they go in, they say, okay, you deal with the fucking hog, and they walk out. And that's what I did. I was like, you deal with the hog. I mean, I've tried, and you know, it's just not worth the time anymore. You deal with it. Yeah, I mean, you know, but I don't know. It's frustrating.
Right, but the way that the enemy works, and this is the same with COVID. I don't want to say because I don't want to get demonetized or whatever, but it's the same the way that it works. It doesn't matter about who's right or wrong. It's about painting an image. So, for example, with Flat Earth, they've worked very hard to make Flat Earthers look like idiots, right?
Sure.
With Netflix programs, etc. Right? So there's two ways to look at it. One is they've made made them look like idiots because it's the truth, which again I'm fine to accept if that was the case. Or two is, which is exactly what they do. They get into the group. So the CIA dude gets into our group and then he starts spitting in your ear little things that he wants you to put out. And it's the same with, if you think of like Simon Dan, right? The guy.
I don't even think they bother with it anymore. I think we're past all that. They don't care.
No, you honestly don't understand how deep this shit goes. Simon Dan, for example, like a normal dude, he's a real guy, he has his own channel, but what you won't realize is that it'll be someone nearby to him giving him little ideas that's been helping his channel, that's been boosting his numbers, and it'll just be a friend.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he won't realize it's just a friend, but a friend is going, oh, you should do a video on this. Oh, I've just seen this video. You should do that. And to him, he won't realize that he's got an actual agent telling him what to do.
Sure.
And that happens in every group. It's celebrities. A celebrity gets it. Someone gets in the group telling them what to do, which film to go for. And it's literally like CIA or fucking, something higher. And the same thing. So, like, with Flat Earth.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what Flat Earth is, though. It's the divisive topic that might turn away the average person from listening to you because they think, oh, I can't agree with a Flat Earther. Right?
I don't care. That's not my loss.
What I'm saying is that's what they've done, right? That's what they've done by creating an atmosphere.
Here's the thing. I'm going to speak my truth, and if you get it, fine. If you don't, fine. I'm not going to pander to and pussyfoot around and not tell you what I believe and what I think, because then I'm just holding back and I'm not sharing everything I know. So if you don't like it, that's okay. Move the fuck on.
You're farming.
If you do, great.
Can I ask you a question? So as you're farming, how do you get your hogs into the pen? Do you go in and just fucking throw them? Or do you guide them? Or what? Do you have a system? Do you ease them in? Or
no, you gotta okay, let's say they're on a trailer. You got to put like plywood up and build a barrier so you kind of got them into that.
Right.
So why do you want the people that you disagree with to go away? Is the point at the end of that? No.
I wasn't saying go away. I was saying guiding them to the truth.
Exactly. No. He said fuck off if they don't agree with them. You know what I mean?
Fuck off. Oh, right. Sorry.
I'm not going to spend my time trying to make someone believe me. Okay. If you don't believe me, fine. I'm not going to like be upset, or I'm not going to try to chase you down and say, no, come back, please. I've got some information you need.
No, don't do that. But
if you don't get it, and if you come to me and you go, oh my gosh, this nut's talking about flat Earth, I can't have that. I'm going to go find somebody that talks about mud flood and globe Earth. Well, go find them.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, people might appreciate that you're like looking out for that. Like, as in, people might think like, oh shit, this guy believes something different, but he understands that I don't, and he like still cares that I'm like here to listen. And I think that's the difference. It's not about you pandering. It's about you saying like, look, I get it. You think that what I'm saying is crazy, but I still want you to hear.
Also, like a bull in a china.
So the question is, should we get Dave Weiss on to flat smack Luke?
Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah, man. Look, Dave Weiss, he's the man.
Campbell is the thing. A very gentle soul.
We're losing people watching this.
Back again.
What?
And you're all wrong. It's trash can Earth model. All right, I proved it, and
it is. We've got the video. We have the video. Trash can Earth.
And with that rude interruption,
not God.
I would just like to interject that it's all about just putting facts and ideas forward in my model, and that I don't try to convince anyone of any sort of belief, and I myself don't even know a lot of the time with a lot of the ideas or the presenter's ideas if it is the case or not. It's just an open discussion of the informations, these evidences, and the research. And as John Levi always says, I don't know, so you're just spitballing here.
I don't know. That's the
Yes.
whole point.
Yeah,
When I first started
And as
making
far as
videos,
flat
it was
Earth,
because
I
saw something
still
and I
see.
wanted to see if the rest of the world saw the same thing, and if they did, I looked at more, and I
So
saw
originally
more,
I would
and
be
shared more.
triggered by
but
flat Earth
you see,
material,
people don't
and
see-
after being immersed in your guys' community and all of the evidence you have presented over the last couple of years working with you, it's like I now can no longer say that I can 100% prove or believe that the Earth is spherical or flat, because both models actually work 100%. You can't disprove either, and you can prove both, so that really nobody freaking knows. It could be a trash can, it could be a toilet bowl Earth, it could be a toroid, it could be a sphere, it could be a disc plane. We don't know, and the
Also,
people that do know are intentionally not showing us or providing us the evidence, and that a polar expedition to the north and to the south are the only way that humanity is going to both unite and figure out that aspect, as well as what's hidden there, because regardless, there's the hidden history, the hidden lands, and the hidden information that will verify it all.
right, yeah, just to clarify, so
Rantober.
if
There you go.
what you said about it being flat or round, right? They can be both, right? It can be both, right? And there's nothing, right? If we live in a
Luke,
simulation,
I agree. I've come to multiverse
Yeah, it's a
understanding,
simulation, and
and
we're
that
creators. Yeah.
yeah, and simulation is another one of those multiverse dimensions.
exactly.
That is essentially all of them
That's
in
the
one.
thing. It is I
And
have
power
I
projection.
look,
There's
Jesus
25% of people
in
believing it's
parables,
flat,
okay?
25.
And the reason he did that is because some folks can take the lower truths and some folks can take the higher truths. My lower truth is that the earth is flat. My higher truth is it's all a simulation.
Right? Well, it's all of them simultaneously.
I mean, well, to be fair, mathematics
In a simulation, yes.
Mathematics,
It's possible. Anything's possible.
Right? Mathematics tells you you're in a simulation, because if in the universe one single person gets the ability to simulate the universe, right, then that means in his simulated universe that one person will simulate a universe, and that becomes exponential, which means there is a infinity to one chance that you're in the original real universe. You're more likely to be in a simulation than the real one.
Well, and that there's a chance there are multiple universes, timelines converged into one at this point, that we could actually, you got like Campbell and Biggs, you both could be literally on a disk sphere on the same, living, interacting in the same multi-dimensional matrix as us, and for someone else could be on a toroid, someone else could be on a sphere, who the F knows, but it could be all of them simultaneously. We can't prove otherwise.
Exactly.
Could be. Yep.
We see through our perspective. We don't all see the same thing. We don't. And that's what people think. They think that we all see the same thing, and they spend all this time trying to say,
look, on the evidence of one
real.
specific one and research it and prove it, it proves to be the case, so that no matter what, all of them prove to be real simultaneously.
I hate to bring this guy up, but he had a very good point. Takashi 69, okay, he was explaining his name the other day, and he was saying if you put a 69 on the ground and I'm looking from one angle and you're looking from the other, I see 69 and you see 96. Which one of us is correct?
Both
that's
are.
the meaning of my name. That's what he explained. He was right.
It's the person who's standing to the. It's clearly two fish when you're standing to the west. I mean, come on, it's a Christian symbol. What are you talking about, Bagel?
Okay.
That's what I mean, that my birthday's 6/9.
Oh, that's Pisces.
my birthday.
Yeah, you said Illuminati confirmed. I said that sounds like a fun time.
Well, you know, the actual number of creation is supposed to be 6, isn't it? Wait, it's 6 and 9
days of creation.
upside down. But well,
worlds. Yeah, worlds. Yeah.
When I'm doing heavy DMT, I see the world as just sixes, and I think that is science enough. You know, don't need any science past that.
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Illuminati confirmed.
He's come out. And 9, of course, is the God number, right? Everything equals 9. 9 equals itself. You can do whatever you want with 9, and you get 9.
Just don't say 19 to
and of
David
course,
Ewing.
666 is 18, which is 9. So I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? It's all 9s. It's not 19. It's 9.
What was it that Tesla said? What was the quote? Everything is what, Bernie?
When you understand. When you understand that everything is
to the universe and frequency, vibration, and energy, or some shit.
Hey, the original.
There's a 369 one as well. I think it's like 369 is the key to the universe or something.
Yes, that's more like it. Yeah.
Right, what's that? Hey, yo, guys, the original 666 was actually 616, right? Which is the number that the Marvel universe gave to our universe. It's universe 616, right? Which is the
Marvel
original
universe. Really?
Yeah, in Marvel.
So it's basically an area code.
But yeah, but
so we're just an area code on the Marvel buddy telephone.
Yep, and we
live
in
the WhatsApp thing.
Big up, Jay.
Yes. Hey, Jay Dreamers, how you doing? So we've been going for 3 hours and 15 minutes, and we seem to have gone sideways beyond belief.
I'm so glad we looked at that.
Straight sideways, all the way into trash can Earth. And one last point on that is you look at Stellium Titan research and all of that, and it seems to be also proving that the tribal or shamanistic views the North American indigenous being on a turtle, elephants on top of a turtle, and that these giant elephants could potentially be it. So who really knows? We could be on a turtle in the sea of the waters above.
Hypothetically, if you had a flat dimension and then you introduced multi-dimensions, if you just did that in 360 degrees, you just end up with a multi-dimensional sphere again.
Right? And so the one-dimensional plane is a moment of time which does exist. Like that dimension is for each moment from every person's perspective. And that I'm believing in putting together
and you have the problem because it doesn't contain space, and you have to hit the third dimension which has to contain space. So where did the space come from?
You got it. And then you combine them and you get into a higher one and you start interacting with more and you get into these higher dimensions. But that the key breakdown of these one dimension disk planes, it goes into the portals and the lunar and solar eclipses and equinoxes, and I feel that it might be a way to travel sideways between them, but that's going way too woo-woo to try to go into right now, 3 hours deep, and I'll talk about that another day.
Well, guys, I think Campbell he's about tired of us, so let's give him a break for today.
I agree.
And we can always much for being on my channel, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you all for being here.
Historia and subscribe.
Yes, and you'll find the link to Ancient Historia. Link
subscribe
to Historia in the description.
Autodidactic 2, Spiral Up, Stuff Beaks 2, Tartarian Truth TV, Burn Eye, and Crypto Alchemist.
Don't subscribe.
Don't forget your mother as well. She was lovely.
And thank you.
Yes.
And you're
and Mrs.
Bernie.
all invited back for Tuesday's Valentine's date with Dutch Synths that will be happening. So I'm going to be scheduling that. And Cam Biggs, Luke, I think Shem should be invited into the Alternative History WhatsApp group if you guys agree.
me, Cam.
No, I don't have WhatsApp.
No,
so
with that kind of
hair.
haircut.
You don't have to.
I'm trying
He'll
to
see all the
send
stuff
it
we
to
make.
Malcolm, and he says,
If he scrolls back, he's going to
Ken,
find
you
what
donate
Beads was
to
saying a
the
month ago.
Shem
Now.
GoFundMe.
Dude, it's all
You get
good. I don't give a fuck about any of
$1,000.
that.
We will shave Shem live on camera.
No, I'll never
That's
show.
what we'll have.
Shame shit. Yeah, exactly. So if you want us to do things, if you want to see, you know, a nipple or, you know, a shirtless person, just give us money. We're cheap.
Yeah.
We will sell it out.
I
All links
I
below.
still have the offer. If someone's willing to pay $1 million, I will do what it takes on
No,
OnlyCam to
Hey, Luke.
create
Luke,
a
this is
homunculus
how you
experiment into a jar.
100,000 subs.
Bernie,
Go like that.
that's not how you say it. You've got to say,
$1 million
if someone's
will
willing to
exactly
pay
into a jar
$1
to try to
million.
create
End of the show,
a
guys. Come on.
homunculus.
Oh my
Pay
God,
me $1 million.
Luke's doing it. He's doing it for free. Oh my God, I'm losing
Show me your
control.
tits.
Everyone wants to be an OnlyCam.
Damn.
Someone is cheap, Luke.
Oh my God, we love you all. Have an amazing day. Links
Have a good
in
night.
the description.
Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.
It's time to kick it old school.